Hello everybody and welcome to Get a Grip, the Singapore Grappling Invitational, working in collaboration with the Singapore Wrestling Federation. We are here at the Tanglin Community Club and we have a night of combat sports today. We have combat Sambo, Freestyle Wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Ghee, and Nogi. My name is Luke Leasure. I'm here with David Ooi and Major Overall. How are you guys doing?
Really good, man. Really excited to see some of these matches tonight.
Yeah, got a lot of different rule sets tonight, so it should be fun.
We have Sport Sambo coming for you, Freestyle Wrestling coming for you, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Nogi, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Ghee. And along with that, we have a lot of the Singapore local favorite competitors here, including Rahul Raju, one championship fighter against Hisham Oz, fighting on the main card here. Hung Yao, the captain of the Singapore wrestling team, competing against Gary Chow from JackSport in the main event. Akis E and Benjamin Chia competing in the co-main event. We have all kinds of matches today. Big Tim competing two different events today. He's competing in wrestling and in Sambo. So we have a lot of great events brought to you by Excelsior and in collaboration with the Wrestling Federation of Singapore. We are just about to get the match underway with our first match of the day. And our first match is going to be Jude Kang from Impact MMA competing against Nigel Nokun from Gracie Baja SG.
Should be a good one.
So Jude, of course, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt competing out of Impact. I see Bruno Amorim here in the corner of Nigel. This is a 56-kilo no-gi match. And we are just about to begin.
Shinya explaining the slightly complex UWW rules to both these competitors.
So these matches are going to be 5 minutes long. And if we don't have a winner in regulation, we will go to overtime, where the rules are very similar to the Eddie Bravo Invitational rules, where the winner of a coin toss will get to choose whether they're on the back or they're starting with the armbar. And here we go. The first match of the Singapore Grappling Invitational Get a Grip event is now underway. Jude Kang in the black, Nigel in the black and red.
So unlike the ADCC, these are much shorter. These are only 5 minutes. These guys really need to get after it. The points start right away, and there's only 5 minutes to work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Fairly slow start for a 5-minute bout, both looking for head control.
Just
Especially
note
this smaller weight class, you really see a higher pace with these lighter guys.
Just note that the other person does get points if you pull guard. So if one of these guys were to pull guard rather than wrestle, they will give up 2 points straight off the bat. Both guys jockeying for position here, not with much urgency though.
No one wants to make the first mistake, right?
Okay, we got a feint there. Already, first minute down. These matches are going to go by quick today. Oh, good front headlock here from Nigel. Jude able to get back up to his feet. Nigel, a jiu-jitsu brown belt, Jude, a jiu-jitsu brown belt. Should be very comfortable on the ground. We'll see how well he does and how much training he has on the feet.
These again are almost like a hybrid rule set, though. I mean, it really rewards the wrestling quite a bit. So I think that if you are a higher rank in jiu-jitsu, it's going to have less of a weight here in this kind of a rule set.
Yeah, especially if you can get those takedown points and get on top, you're only going to have, it's going to be much harder to sweep. And once you get those points and you get in the top position with only a couple minutes, you imagine each guy probably wrestling for 1 to 2 minutes. Let's say one gets a takedown. I mean, you only have 3 minutes then to hit a sweep or maybe take the back or something like that. So you're really going to have to push a pace with 5 minutes to work.
We're seeing a lot of individual attacks here, not much combination play. And I think this is something you see a lot with jiu-jitsu competitors, as opposed to people who spend a lot more time wrestling or doing judo or any other stand-up grappling art. So I think getting a takedown might prove to be quite difficult in some of these matches, especially between more jiu-jitsu focused athletes.
And what you really need to see with this kind of wrestling style is tenacity with the takedowns, chaining the takedowns together, really, really fighting for it. You see the kind of jiu-jitsu pace, which is what I see watching here, right? Whereas the wrestling pace, which is sort of what you're going to need to score here, is going to have to be much more tenacious, much more explosive. And when you do commit on a single, a double, a snap, you need to chain it together and finish aggressively.
Exactly. We're not really seeing much of this, much breaking of balance.
But we are getting a quicker pace here from Nigel. who's starting to push the pace. He got the front headlock he's looking for. That was a nice reshot. Now the pace is picking up here. We'll see if they can sustain it. We only have 2 minutes left. These matches are going quick. Bruno Amarim here in the corner of
It looks like Nigel's just gotten a point for... Oh, both competitors have gotten a point for passivity.
Some hand fighting here. Both in an upright stance here from Nigel.
Exactly. Again,
We'll see who really commits to a double here or a single.
Kind of slightly off balance there. Probably needed to follow that up.
Yeah, this is what they need to do. Once they get the off balance, once they get the Kazushi, they need to follow up quickly with a strong, explosive shot. And I've seen Nigel have the head a couple times on this snap down. He needs to throw by, shuck, and then spin to the back here. Jude should shoot right now. He's got the head position. He's got inside position with his hands, but they're interlocking their fingers here.
I think no one's going to take a big risk right now. We've got 50 seconds left to go.
Someone needs to.
If anything,
there it is.
There we go.
Nigel with a brilliantly timed takedown.
Very, very nice, Coachy.
And it's going to be difficult now for Jude to recover from this. He's going to have to really engage. There's only 35 seconds left. And Nigel jumps for the armbar, but Jude's attacking the leg. Let's see if he can get the top position. A nice scramble here at the end of the match. But with only 25 seconds left, we'll see what happens here.
Nigel got points for another takedown there.
Nigel up by 2 points here, 3-1,
now.
5-1.
Cool. 10 seconds left.
And he jumps on the armbar again. And that's it.
the high pace.
Nigel winning that
with
with an explosive possum performance, pulling out that Koichi Makikomi at the end there to get the takedown, and that led to another takedown after that.
And I think what we saw there was Nigel really setting the pace. Right? I mean, by the time Jude started aggressively attacking, he was already down, and really just Nigel setting the wrestling pace there in the second half of that match, able to score the takedowns and get the victory up 5-1. Nigel Nokun over Jude Kang. One thing that's also interesting about this rule set is that you get a point for pushing out your opponent. So we may need to keep an eye on that here and see if anybody uses the tactics here to score an easy point if you can just manage to sumo your opponent out of bounds. Okay, so the first match underway here. The next match is going to be a freestyle wrestling match. Natasha Kang against Hiba Lufina. So moving on from no-gi jiu-jitsu on to freestyle wrestling. So what are you guys' thoughts with this rule set that we're seeing here? It's interesting, a little bit different, kind of similar to ADCC in some ways, but also a little bit different with the push-outs and the 5-minute time limit. So how do you think this will go? These guys are really going to have to push the pace today with this 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think hopefully the competitors in the back will have watched that first match, and they'll take note of what's going on and realize that they need to push that pace a lot harder, especially in a fight that's only 5 minutes. You should all have 5 minutes of cardio in you if you're competing on a card like this. So like obviously don't be reckless with it, but don't just be really conservative. Don't just try and hold your base and not get taken down. Don't be afraid. And we should have some good and entertaining fights tonight.
And it should be interesting here because so often, especially for the jiu-jitsu matches, and I think with the next match we're going to see a freestyle wrestling match. I suspect we're going to see a noticeably different pace, and that will be interesting to see how the BJJ people adapt to this because. As you guys know, oftentimes in the gym, it's sort of very typical to start your matches down already. One person takes the top position, one person takes the bottom position. And, we'll often do 6-7 minute rounds where you can chill a lot more. You can take your time. You can set stuff up. The pace is different. But when the match starts on the feet and you're penalized 2 points for pulling guard, and you only have 5 minutes to work. You can imagine with a couple minutes of wrestling, you may only get 3 minutes to actually play your game. And if you're doing it with that sort of chill, slap hands, fist bump style of jiu-jitsu that's so often in the academy style of jiu-jitsu, these guys might struggle today with scoring points and pushing the pace that they need to fight hard for 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I think you know, you see a lot of this, and you realize a lot of this, and when you know, predominantly train in judo in jiu-jitsu, and then you go and try, like, even in training, not just in competition. If you go to a judo club, for example, or a wrestling club, how much harder it is, how much more your lungs burn in the randori portion of training, because you know you're firstly, I think you burn more energy just being stood up. It's harder on your legs. And then as well as that, you know, you've got to get up every time you get taken down. That takes a mental toughness as well. I think just resetting in a jiu-jitsu round, you know, if you get tapped out, you can literally stay in the same position, not have to move at all, and restart a round. So it's not necessarily as mentally tough. That's not to say jiu-jitsu people are tough, because there's some very, very tough ones that are going to be competing later on today.
And they often reset, to your point, on the ground already.
Exactly.
Not on the feet. And you know, that the kind of cardio that it takes to wrestle is significantly more explosive than when you're, you know, kind of chilling and rolling on the ground. So we have both ladies entering here for the freestyle wrestling matchup, and I am quite curious to see how different the first 30 seconds of this match will look in comparison with the first 30 seconds of the previous match. I suspect we'll get a much higher pace here. Of course, freestyle rules. Both people will need to actively look for takedowns. When they get the takedown, they're going to be looking to turn, roll over their partner in order to score points.
Yep. All right, so our next match that's being brought to you by Excelsior Financial is between Natasha Kang and Hiba Luftina.
Should be a really interesting match. Freestyle wrestling, 53 kilos. Two ladies bringing in our first freestyle wrestling match of the day.
We don't know a great deal about these ladies beforehand. However, Natasha's come out wearing a gymnastics t-shirt. So maybe we'll see some really acrobatic takedowns coming from her.
We got Natasha Kang coming from NYSI and Hiba Luftina coming in from AWC, 53 kilos, freestyle women. Here at the Singapore Grappling Invitational Get a Grip, coming from the Tanglin Community Club. We're just about to start match number 2 of the day.
I think we're just waiting for the mat to be cleaned in between each match before we get started. It's very nice to see that there are, you know, you're starting to see these wrestling clubs in Singapore pop up as well, because I think it's, you know, you get a lot of jiu-jitsu clubs. You had the odd judo club as well, but I think the Wrestling Federation's done a very good job of outreach and having these, you know, like Antlers Wrestling Club, NYSI. These are relatively new clubs, and you know, it's really good for the grassroots development of wrestling in Singapore, and I think that the Wrestling Federation are doing a really great.
You know, wrestling is a really thankless sport, right? It tends to not get a lot of attention. It tends to be difficult to watch if you don't know what you're seeing. And, you know, it doesn't get the attention that it deserves, in part because, you know, it's so different than, say, MMA or jiu-jitsu, and it's just a really, really tenacious sport. This is why the people that take part in it love it so much. Because, you know, for example, in the last match was a 5-minute match, and you can see the considerable slow pace at the beginning, and then how they started to pick it up at the end once the urgency was built. This is going to be different. These ladies are going to have only 2 minutes to work, and then there's going to be a period in between where they get to rest, and then they get to come back and they get to wrestle for 2 more minutes. So I believe this should be a 6-minute match, and they have 2 minutes to work. So you're going to see how aggressively these ladies are going to have to hunt for takedowns, hunt for turns. When they've only got 2 minutes to work, you really don't have time to muck about. And this is why the people that do it love it so much, because it's such a grind. It's so difficult to do, and it's really hard to get people to do it as well. So it's great for the Singapore Wrestling Federation to have young ladies like this reaching out and able to compete against each other as we just about to begin the second match of the day. 6 minutes in a freestyle wrestling match. Here we go. Both ladies locking up here. Both ladies looking to snap the head, get inside position on the legs. Pushing and pulling a shot straight away. Fighting for inside head position here. Oh, and a nice lateral drop there. Now she takes the bottom position, so you're going to see Heba here flatten out. While Natasha looks to turn. What she's looking to do here is just turn her and get her to roll her shoulders across the mat, but you don't have much time. And both girls start back up. Natasha Kang up 4 points to 0. Fighting again here for inside hand position. Does look like Natasha's got a bit of a weight advantage here, huh?
And a strength advantage as well, I'd say.
What I like from Natasha earlier is like she took a shot earlier and she used that to get a dominant grip and an underhook. She's taking top position again.
We'll see if she's able to get the turn here. She's jumping to the side. There comes the turn.
Yep, she's creating.
She's gonna keep going, keep going. Yep. And Heba back to her feet. And already you can see in the first minute and 20 seconds, we've had about 2 to 3 takedown attempts here. Here comes another one.
She's on that single.
If she scores 2 more points, this is
going to be a tech fall.
A tech fall, right.
So see if she's able to clear this arm and get behind.
So one thing that's different about wrestling than jiu-jitsu is if you have a significant gap of points, the match is over right away.
Yeah, winner by technical superiority, or sometimes in wrestling called a tech fall. Actually, that's also available for the Nogi matches today as well. I believe it's 15 points.
And in Sambo.
And in Sambo,
yep.
Right, exactly. So if you do get a certain amount of points ahead of your opponent, they do stop the match.
It looks like is the case right now. Oh no, sorry, scoreboard error.
But you can see Natasha Kang, definitely the bigger, the stronger of the two here.
Dominance.
Heba Lutina is going to need to get low, win the hand fighting, and win the head position battle here.
Another foreign object on the mat.
What's this stuffed animal?
Where did that come from?
What does that mean? I've never seen that before.
Okay, looks like we're about to take away here. 2 minutes down into this match. So we got some hand fighting there. She looks for maybe a fireman's carry or a high crotch here. She's driving, driving, driving. Let's see if she can get back up to her feet and connect her hands. Heba with a nice takedown attempt here. If she can circle behind and clear that arm, she's going to get some points here. A nice entry here. We'll see if she's able to clear this arm and circle behind. But Natasha very strong in this position. If she can limp arm out and clear this arm, she's going to score points. And there we go. She's able to score. Nice takedown there. And she's going to look to connect her legs, figure 4 her legs, and maybe get a turn here, connect her ankles. As Heba Lufina finally gets a score, she's looking to turn her here.
Very, very hard.
She got a timely takedown here, and now all of a sudden this match is more competitive. A really, really nice takedown from Heba here. And we have our quick rest period. We'll see if either lady is able to make adjustments. Heba Lutfina able to show her competitiveness here. Score a nice takedown at the end of the period there. So she's in this match. Really impressive because she seems like she's at a considerable weight disadvantage. Of course, both women weighing in at 53 kilos, but I would say Heba's probably less than that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're back.
Okay, so it looks like we have 3-minute periods here. And we're in the second period of this match. Both girls looking for position here. That's what I want to see. A little more feinting from Natasha. That's nice. Get the reaction. Then the snap will come. When you fake the legs like that, it brings the head forward. That's when your snap down is going to be available. And vice versa, when you snap the head, when you try to correct the posture, it will open up the legs where these ladies can take a nice single leg or a double leg. Okay, Ludvina in on this single again. She had good success with it in the first round. Let's see if she should stand back up here, get back to her feet. Oh, she able to reverse and get the front headlock.
Oh, nice.
Hiba Ludvina coming on strong here at the end of this match.
Natasha trying to
Yeah,
slip through.
Natasha tries a nice peek out there. Both women jostling for head position, but Natasha's got the head position here and the foot position. She might finish this takedown. The only thing saving Hiba is this whizzer she's got with her left arm. And that's it, back to the feet. Two minutes to go here. I'd like to see a little bit more hand fighting from the outside here. So right now both ladies are able to get in and shoot without clearing the hands much. There's a nice snap. We'll see if she follows it up with a single or a double. There it is. Oh, but Ludvina able to get a hard sprawl here. She needs to crossface or pick that ankle, stretch her. Here comes the crossface. She needs to pick that ankle and stretch her hips, defend this single before she tries to spin around. She needs to get Natasha off of her leg first, push that head into the ground, break the posture so she can spin around. Both girls seemingly stuck in a stalemate here, but Hiba has a good chance to defend this takedown, but she needs to defend it first before she spins. She's got to clear that arm on her leg first by cross-facing with her left hand, or right hand rather. We're into the final minute of this match. Natasha Kang started strong, but Hiba Ludvina showing her tenacity, finishing strong, scoring some points, but she's going to have to hustle here.
Down by 6 points.
She's going to need a takedown and a turn. And if she can chain together a couple turns, she can win this match, but she's only got 30 seconds to work. She's got to stand back up and go again, or chain wrestle here. Oh, she almost gets turned. Oh, nice. Well, she's got a very hard whizzer here, and Natasha's going to come behind, score her points.
All right, she's got 2 points and
that
10 seconds
should wrap
left.
this match up here. We'll see if she goes for the turn in the last 10 seconds. Okay, just a few seconds left here as the girls finish the match. It looks like Natasha Kang is going to take the victory here over Hiba Ludvina. Hiba really coming in with a size disadvantage and perhaps a experience disadvantage, but really showed her heart and showed her tenacity and showed that she can be competitive in there. And, you know, one thing that's really positive to see is these young ladies in here competing in this freestyle wrestling. You know, I'm certain that there's not many. Oh, but look at Hiba. She is tough. She gets the points there at the end. Very nice. Look at that by Hiba Ludvina wrestling until the very end. And you can tell this woman with style points at the end, looking to score whatever she can. And what do you think, guys? A moral victory there at the end, showing that she'll fight until the very last second.
She grew into that fight like nothing I've ever seen before. After the initial big flurry from Natasha, she got the big takedown. I think she's actually been outscored since then.
In the second half of the match.
Second half of the match, yeah.
You know, really good thing to see. I suspect we'll see these ladies competing against each other in the future. You know, they're two women that are doing freestyle wrestling around the same weight class. I'm sure they may compete again. They may be teammates in the future.
Absolutely.
And a really nice showing by the ladies here representing Singapore freestyle wrestling.
Absolutely, and you can really see what you meant by the more chain wrestling approach to these fights, because you know, like we saw in the first fight, it was quite tentative. It was looking for a grip and then looking for a takedown. What we saw here was using takedown attempts to try and get good grips and dominant grips and use that to break balance as well. so keeping everything, keeping it fluid and all together was very nice to see there.
Now the mat is being sprayed down once more as we prepare
Yes,
for our first Sambo match of the evening. Coming at 66 kilos, we have Caden Teo from Evolve MMA competing against Ursus Lee from Fighter Fitness in a sport Sambo match.
Ursus wanted also wanted to let people know that he also does his judo at Assumption English School. This is going to be quite an exciting match. This is a cadet match, so both these are under 18. I think both of them around 15, 16.
Usually you see the better judo guy will usually win the Sambo competition, right?
Absolutely, but these are both very good judo guys. So Caden does his judo at, I believe he does at Raffles Institution, which is one of the better school judo programs in Singapore. And obviously trains out of Evolve as well, so he's not wanting for good training partners ever.
And this is another, even going back to what we were talking about with freestyle wrestling, it's good to see the Sambo scene growing in Singapore as well. They just recently made Sambo as part of the SEA Games, I think 4 or 5 years ago. And you've really seen because the judo scene already existed here. So now the Sambo is growing as well. Of course, we got Big Tim later on competing in Sambo. It's really good to see these sort of more, I guess, esoteric grappling sports grow. In addition to, of course, the BJJ scene is huge here, the MMA scene is huge here. So to see the freestyle wrestling and the Sambo get some attention in these combat sport events is also really nice to see, especially coming from the young guys like this.
Absolutely, and I think it generally makes sense because obviously, yes, all these different grappling sports have their own nuances, but there's so much carryover. There's so much that being good at judo will help with being good at jiu-jitsu, but and so it's nice to see people entertaining the idea of cross-training more here in not just, in different sports. And I think, again, the Wrestling Federation are doing a really good job in that they've got, all these different rule sets. I'm sure if you went to other countries, you'll have wrestling federations that focus purely on just one of these, on just freestyle or just Greco-Roman, whereas, you've got this great diversity of the sports that the Wrestling Federation here have under their umbrella.
And of course, with when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Sambo, and Judo, we're all martial arts cousins. It all stems from Judo, that famous Kodokan Academy out of Judo, which is where Sambo started, and then where ultimately led Jigoro Kano to go to, or rather Maeda to go to Brazil. And so it all comes from Judo, and you can see the similarities in the sports. I mean, it's just slightly different rule sets, but you're going to see very similar things. So with the Sambat rules today, a clean throw, meaning that you throw your opponent and land on your feet, is an instant win, like a ippon.
If you land on your feet, you're a ninja.
If you land, no, I mean if the person doing the throw stays on their feet rather,
absolutely,
then it's like an ippon. It's an instant win. So which is a really dynamic move that I like a lot about the Sambo rules too. It's similar to like a knockout punch. If you follow your opponent down to the ground, then it scores points. It's not an instant win. And of course, in Sambo, there are submissions that you're allowed to do, including calf slicers, arm bars, straight ankle locks. So we've got a little bit of some judo rule sets. They can go for some submissions, and you're going to see some very aggressive grip fighting and wrestling on the feet as well.
Do you think that the jacket will speed up or slow down that initial wrestling phase of the match?
It's a good question. I think it sort of depends on the style of the competitor, as it does with anybody, right? You can see really, really aggressive judo styles and Sambo styles. It's a good question. I mean, you're going to see some really, really aggressive grip fighting. And once they go to the ground, though, in Sambo, the match, they only get a few seconds to work. So when they do actually get to the ground, you tend to see really, really quick submissions, especially things like arm locks and knee bars. And
absolutely. And in Sambo, the submissions are only allowed when both fighters are in what they call a grounded position. So you can just defend a submission by simply standing up, which is, quite cool, I guess. Maybe not from a martial aspect, the purest form, but it's something to be considered. And I think what that leads to then is like judo has looked to focus on as well, is like a bigger focus on the big throws and the big takedowns.
They are very dynamic, right? Especially when you get that ippon, when you get that perfect throw. It is really, really dynamic to see and beautiful to watch. We'll see if we get one here. As the mats are clean, it looks like both competitors are about to enter the mat. But yeah, to your point, Major, it'll be interesting to see how aggressively these guys approach this, how aggressively they grip fight, how aggressively they look for throws. Because of course you want to be aggressive, but sometimes being overly aggressive can put you out of position and leave you vulnerable to counter attacks and counter throws and counter takedowns.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the grip fighting you see in more stand-up focused grappling arts with a gi on as well, it can tend to look a lot more violent, really. If you have a really good judo person break your grip off their lapel, it can feel violent.
Oh, and my fingers, if I'm trying to grip fight hard with a judo guy, my fingers the next day, the joint knuckles and all my fingers are just swollen. It's brutal because they grip fight so hard. That's why they all have that massive inflammation in their knuckle joints all the time and always wear the tape. They're just barely holding their hands together.
Yeah, barely held together, but somehow strong as like shaking hands with your dad.
Yeah,
first time.
Bone crushing squeeze.
All right, the mats are clean, so we should be looking to get started soon. So we'll just take this time to talk about the fact that it's the Wrestling Federation of Singapore's 13th birthday today, and they're just celebrating their mission to promote wrestling, sambo, grappling, and other associated styles to bring strong and resilient children, youth, men, and women to the society of Singapore. So they just want us to let you know that you can support their mission by making a 250% tax-deductible donation at giving.sg/Singapore Wrestling/OTSF, or scan the QR code when it pops up on screen, as it has done now. And they're also very happy to be putting this event on in collaboration with Singapore Grappling Invitational at Tanglin Community Club, which is a wonderful venue. It's been the venue for many great wrestling competitions, great jiu-jitsu competitions. I'm sure they've had great judo competitions here as well. All right, looks like we're about to get started with our next match. So we have in the red corner we have Caden. Nope, sorry. That's been reversed. In the red corner, we have Ursus. And in the blue corner, fighting out of Fighter Fitness. And in the blue corner, we have Caden, fighting out of Evolve MMA.
Okay, here we go. First Sambo match of the evening.
Isn't it great watching Sambo and the novelty of someone in a gi top and shorts?
It is beautiful. I do kind of like it. You get all the grip fighting of judo, but you can still shoot in on the legs, and you get an added benefit of all the grip fighting and everything, and the aesthetic of it as well, eh?
And you feel like Fedor.
Exactly. Okay, we got both guys here grip fighting hard. So it looks like we got a 5-minute match here. I see, and I can already see the wrestling style head fighting, the head butting here. Really, really common tactic as both guys on the inside will look to. Oh, and a nice outside trip.
They scored 4 points there. Lovely, lovely Tayatoshi there from Caden. He went down to the floor as well, so it doesn't get him total victory. But yes, he's the one who's scored that dominant inside grip on Ursus's lapel.
Ursus shot on a double leg there. Look to try to get inside. He's going to have to clear these grips now.
Yeah, shooting for double legs becomes a lot harder when there's a gi on that you can use to.
You can pretty much only do it if you don't have the grips on the gi. You can only do it from the outside. If you try to shoot in, they'll just stiff arm you away. And okay, we're going to restart here. Inactivity. Now, one thing about the Sambo rules is they do very quickly jump on you for inactivity. They expect people to work hard and fast. As Asa shoots in for a single, he looks to be trying to apply his wrestling here. But Caden with a really nice trip earlier on in the round. We'll see if he's able to utilize the grips again.
Caden feinting that. There we go. He's gone for that drop.
Let's see if he comes out, and he's able to score another drop save Nogi. Beautiful takedown by Caden Teo. Seems to have the advantage with the gripping. Alcis may have hurt his elbow a little bit there. It looked like he's shaking out his arm, his right arm, but he's jumping right back to it. So Caden Teo up 8-0 in our first Sambo match of the evening.
Caden's really using that grip dominance to his advantage here, and it's given him a lot of poise. He's grown in confidence in this match here. He knows that once he gets a hold of that lapel, he's good. He's trying to get that grip over the top as well, maybe to continue to break down Ursus's posture.
And it looks like Ursus was favoring shooting from the outside, which may be the right move, but as you can tell, it's so hard to shoot with that jacket when they can get a grip. So we'll see if he makes an adjustment here. See if he jumps on this arm bar.
Caden gets himself a minor score there for throwing Ursus onto his front.
So can you explain that?
Yes, I believe the differentiation in takedowns is based on where on their body they land and where you are in position. So if I throw you but I drop to my knees or drop to the floor, then I'll get less points. And throwing Ursus onto his front has scored him 1 point because he also dropped to his knee. If you throw him, I believe if you throw him onto his front and you maintain standing position, then I believe you get 3 points, but I may be mistaken. I will look that up.
And the ultimate objective being to throw your opponent and land yourself on your feet, standing over your opponent for the clean finish. And now we got Ursus fighting hard here. See if he can come out the back door. But Caden's so strong with his grips. Both guys back to their feet. And every time Ursus tries to shoot from the outside, Caden's able to stuff him with those underhooks. You can see Ursus still shaking out his right arm.
I think he tried to stop his fall by posting on that arm when Caden threw him with that lovely drop Yanagi earlier.
Both guys head fighting here, looking to get superior grips on the sleeves.
Caden, is a lot more tentative when he doesn't have control of that lapel.
We'll see if Ursus is able to block him from getting it again. Yeah. Blocking that lapel grip and blocking the over-the-back grip is just so important in judo and sambo. And so much of it, you see here, Ursus trying to shot again, because it might be tactically the right move. But Caden's so quick to respond every time Ursus takes a shot.
And don't forget, you can score by pinning in sambo as well.
We'll see if he's able to turn him here. And quickly back up to the feet. 39 seconds to go. Ursus Lee against Caden Teo. Caden Teo up 9-0. Let's see if Ursus is able to hit that perfect throw, win this match with 20 seconds to go. He's going to need a big move here.
Caden once again with that lapel grip. Look at how much more poised and confident he looks every time he has that.
We'll see if either guy takes a chance here. Last 5 seconds. Oh, and there he is again, able to get his barely just point down. And that'll be it for the first sambo match of the day.
That's also nice because it's fun for the competitors as well, because in a judo rule set, Caden would have won that fight after the first throw, but he got to go out and display his sambo and his just overall grappling ability for a bit longer, which it's always a nice different change of mind.
And you can really see the power of that lapel grip too. Hey, as soon as you're able to get control of that grip, it just makes everything so much harder. Anytime you try to shoot, you can just simply stiff arm your opponent away. It gives you so many opportunities for takedowns, for throws. The power of that lapel grip is just something to behold. You can see Caden Teal really, really confident with it. As we are about to head in to match number 4 of the evening.
Yes, big boys.
Oh, we got the big boys coming in now.
We have Timmy and Rainer.
Timmy and Rainer. This is going to be a clash of giants here. This is Sambo or is this freestyle?
This is freestyle.
Okay, here we go. We got Big Timmy Low, a well-known figure within the community of Singapore, the martial arts community of Singapore, going up against Rainer, who's just this gigantic behemoth of a man standing in front of me, competing in freestyle wrestling today.
Rainer pretty much picked up wrestling this year. National level rugby player, and due to not being able to play team sports anymore, but also really needing to rugby tackle people, he has decided that he would take up freestyle wrestling.
So we'll be looking for the blast double today.
Absolutely, but Tim's not necessarily the easiest person to get underneath and run through.
I don't think either of these guys would be very easy to get underneath and run through.
Well,
yeah,
also, do you necessarily want to be underneath either of them?
Exactly.
No, you get one of these guys sprawling on you, it's not going to be fun.
No, absolutely not.
And, you know, so I think it'll be an issue of tactics here. You know, generally when you see the big boys like this, you tend to see a lot more upper body wrestling because the consequences of taking a shot on somebody so big with really good hips, Rainer being a rugby player, Timmy, of course, being a judo black belt, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu purple belt, a former member of the Sambo national team, very well-rounded martial artist.
We don't even know how many medals he's won at the SEA Games and in how many different sports as well.
And he's competing 2 times today.
Yeah.
Big Tim, a legend, does not care, willing to get in there. Looked very stress-free today, but he has got a mountain of a man in front of him.
Yeah, I think he just got changed. I wonder if he's even warmed up.
I doubt it. Rainer Young against Timothy Lowe at 125 kilo freestyle wrestling. This should be interesting.
You ever tried to lift 125 kilos? It's a lot. These men are heavy. These men are large. These men are thick.
Okay, looks like we're about to begin here. One final cleaning of the mats. And we have the 2 biggest gentlemen competing in freestyle wrestling. So again, the objective of freestyle wrestling to get a takedown, turn your opponent to score points, get their shoulders to show by either lacing their legs together and doing a sort of gator roll movement, by gut wrenching.
Both men have also gone for the confuse the commentators look by being in the blue corner but wearing red shoes, or being in the red corner wearing blue shoes.
Luckily, we know these 2.
Yes. Fortunately, they don't really look that similar to each other.
Rainer keeping it old school with the singlet. I like it. Big Tim opting for a more modern look in the shorts and rash.
I'd really like it if he comes on and does the whole Kurt Angle, remove the straps, scream.
So you got to think Tim will definitely have the combat sports advantage as he does over almost anybody in the country. But you can see just Rainer Young is a beast of a man.
And very calm. So this fight between 2 very large gentlemen is about to be brought to you by Excelsior Financial, proud sponsors of this event. Rainer just doing up the shoes because you don't want to trip over. Yeah, as you said, combat sport experience definitely have to hand to Tim. But Rainer obviously competed at high level sport for the national team. Looks just as calm.
Both guys experienced competitors. Tim definitely with the combat sports advantage. Both guys getting in there straight away. You can expect a lot of physicality, a quick slap there from Rainer. Both guys acknowledging cheek, and you can see these guys are rough in here. This is real hard wrestling.
Those are significant strikes.
Yeah. That's a borderline 1-2 there.
So what we'll likely see as well from Tim is trying to use the foot sweeps as well to set things up.
Oh, Tim able to score early.
Does that count as high amplitude?
I don't think so.
Well, they've scored it as high amplitude. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
It has to go over your
Waistline.
partner's hips, yeah. 4-0 here for Tim. Both guys aggressively hand fighting in here. It's like they're getting a warning of some kind.
That was an aggressive handshake too.
Everything aggressive with these two. And you're looking, he's gonna have to clear these hands first before he shoots. You see him trying to do an elbow pull here, maybe duck under. Tim looking for the throw, and he's able to get it, but Rainier comes behind him. Really nice exchange here. Risky move by Tim. How are they going to score this?
Well, Tim got 4 points for that takedown.
But Rainier able to score because even though Tim goes for the sacrifice takedown, Rainier was able to get behind him. A risky move in freestyle wrestling.
This is the thing you actually see a lot with judo people and a lot of combat sports is that, especially when you don't have total victory rules like an ippon scoring you an instant win, is that they give up their back. Is you give up your back quite readily and often because of the force you can generate by turning. It allows for big throws, but it's also very risky.
Because it creates the opportunity for scrambling and then for someone to end up behind you. So this match all of a sudden is just heating up.
So
Timothy Lowe 4-2 over Rainier, and it looks like the judges are trying to figure out how to score this.
We don't know how many points they have, and neither do the referees at this point, but they will.
Because Tim was able to get the takedown,
yes,
but in the subsequent scramble, Rainier able to end up behind him and on top, which should definitely count as a reversal. So we'll see how this goes. Both judges conferring on the side here. Either way, we have a much closer match here. And we'll see if Tim chooses to take this approach on his takedown again.
Just need to also point out Rainer's Christmas sock game is fantastic. If there was to be any sort of award for that,
well said.
today,
I had to notice that, but he's in the spirit.
He would be winning.
You got to respect the wrestling shoes, the Christmas socks, and the singlet.
Yeah. Yep. So as we suspected, Tim gets 4 points for a high amplitude throw, and Rainier gets 2 points for that reversal.
That second one I get. Tim jumping right back in here. We'll see if he chooses to turn his back on one of these throws again. So hard to shoot on Tim. So risky. But Rainier is still going after it. He's able to push him out. He's going to score a point, and he does. He's able to get the push out here, so another point from Rainier, bringing the fight to 8-3 in favor of Tim. Went at him like a demon to get that push out.
I started getting nervous for everybody outside of the match.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a full-on. He looked like he was about to rugby tackle him.
I don't know when Singapore's last earthquake was, but it was almost 30 seconds ago.
So in the freestyle wrestling and in the Nogi today, you get 1 point for a push-out. So if you do find your opponent at the edge of the mat here, we'll see if anybody used that to advantage. Really, really smart tactic from Rainier, seeing Tim on the edge of the mat and just bull rushing him to get that push-out and nearly taking out one of our photographers in the process. It's like a warning from the referee to not kill the spectators. Both guys still really game, smiling, having fun. Oh, Tim's able to get a collar tie here. This is, you definitely don't, oh, looks like he may have got a poke to the eye. Rainier able to score the takedown. Looked like Tim may have gotten a little bit of a poke in the eye there. He seems to be okay. Couldn't exactly see what happened. It looked like in the process.
Neither can Tim.
So now we're 8-5. Okay,
Yeah,
Tim just trying to clear the eye, clear the vision. He's okay. Just trying to blink it out.
Just want to point out that level of Tim's nonchalance is that up to about the start of this match, he didn't know who was in his corner.
Tim, of course, a coach in Singapore in many different martial arts disciplines.
I think what we're starting to see is Tim's experience starting to pay off. Rainier just took a big, deep breath there.
It looks like, was Rainier able to get the push out here? He does. This match is tightening up.
He is slowly eating away at that gap.
He is, but you can see hands on the hips from Rainier. We'll see how the cardio holds up. We have 8-6. Tim looking at his corner, kind of shaking his head, knowing he's been here before. He knows this competition scene. But Rainier Long is tightening up this match, only down by 2 points. He was down 8-2 just 1 minute, 2 minutes ago. Tim's got a great position here. We'll see if he's able to hit a throw.
Yep.
Here it comes. Here comes the trip. Oh, he could be looking for, oh, let's see what he got here. And that's it. Able to get the pin. We'll see what, were you able to hear that?
Looks like Rainier didn't really didn't understand the rule briefing earlier, maybe. But Tim with that lovely Haragoshi and holding him down with scarf hold, getting the switch. Rainier's shoulders were definitely down, so I can't really disagree with the pin decision.
Okay, Timothy Lowe by decision here. And what turned out to be a close match. These guys having a really, really interesting match. Both guys just physical specimens. And Tim gets about 45 minutes to cool down before he comes back later for a Sambo match. Tim just getting started today. And a real nice showing from Rainier. So we'll see here if we're taking a quick break. Of course, we are Singapore Grappling Invitational. This is the Get a Grip event in collaboration with the Wrestling Federation of Singapore. And Excelsior Financial Group is a group of financial consultants representing Great Eastern Financial Advisors. They're also part of a larger agency, Advisors Click. With its industry-leading processes and best-in-class training, Excelsior Financial is able to provide their clients with clarity, confidence, and convenience in their financial journey. Excelsior Financial believes that sports is a close metaphor to their values and hence committed to growing the sport culture and game. Through Excelsior Financial support, they believe that the Wrestling Federation of Singapore will be able to give back at even greater levels to the community and the society at large, especially in the development of the association and high-performance programs. To find out more about what Excelsior Finance is doing, please visit their website at excelsiorfinancial.sg/giving. We have the mats being cleaned here again. As we get on to the next part of the card here, and we got a really nice matchup of brown belts coming in the 71 Ghee match. We've got Emirul Shafiq competing out of Carpe Diem BJJ against Charlie Alcayaga from UFC Gym Singapore, and a 71 kilo Ghee match. About to get to the Ghee Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Interesting fact about Charlie, I asked him if he wanted to put out any messages before the show. Turns out he used to be a professional comedian. He also says he loves memes, and then he sent me some absolutely disgusting and unshareable stuff.
Well, you can share with us after.
Absolutely. But there are children watching. Emirul, we last saw at our last Singapore Grappling Invitational event, making it all the way to the final of the ADCC Grand Prix. Look, this is a fight between two very, very technical brown belt competitors. Emirul, very, very fast. Charlie also very physically strong as well. You know, both very mobile, both got very hard guards to pass, both very hard to sweep. You know, they're both people where if you try and sweep them out of nowhere, some you know, extra limb comes out of nowhere and bases, and then, you know, you're left wondering what are you supposed to do. So this one should be very exciting, and this is our first. I believe it's our first Ghee grappling match as well.
And I believe this is IBJJF rules as we go in here. So, Major,
UWW rules.
Sorry?
UWW rules. So
for this?
Yeah, so still can't sit.
Ooh, so it'll be interesting to see how the stand-up plays out here. Major, how do you feel about Charlie and Amiral going into this match. Of course, Amiral, very active competitor recently in Singapore.
Yeah, he's trying to get on every event that is available, it seems like, right? He loves to compete, though.
And one of his, I believe his first Ghee competition as a brown belt.
Absolutely, yeah. Just received his brown belt this year, and obviously the last competition, the only competition he had available to him, he competed Nogi. So we're excited.
He's been training for a long time, though. I think he's probably somewhere around 10, 11 years of jiu-jitsu. So he's not really taking long breaks or time off.
I would definitely give Amiral the advantage in experience, competition experience, at least within the Singapore jiu-jitsu scene. Charlie's,
yeah, for sure.
Charlie's been around for a while, but haven't seen him compete at a lot of competitions. So really, Charlie looking to cut his teeth in the local Singapore competitions post COVID-19. We'll see how both Gaia chooses to approach the stand-up. So is it the same rules then for Nogi and Ghee for the UWW?
Yes, it is.
Just wearing a jacket.
Just wearing a jacket. So guys punished by pulling guard here. So it will be really interesting to see if maybe some of the judo skills or the wrestling skills come into play, or if one guy will just simply choose to pull guard and go down 2 points at the beginning of the match. Could be a risky maneuver, especially because typically, if we're dealing with IBJJF rules, these brown belts are going to have 8 minutes to work, but today only 5 minutes.
Not only that, I think it's kind of impossible to escape the back. If a guy gets 2 double under lapel grips in 1 minute, I don't think that's going to be possible. If they're really going to go to the overtime with this as well, right?
Yeah, maybe we should explain the overtime rules to our viewers. So if at the end of the match points are even, there is a flip of a coin, and whoever wins the coin toss gets to choose a position semi-similar to EBI. They can either take the back or go for the armbar position, and then they have 1 minute to try and submit their opponent. If they fail to submit their opponent, they lose. They do not get a chance to have their opponent try and attack them. So
it's a weird choice. If you had to guess, what would you think is the reasoning behind that? Behind not letting both people take a shot at
Probably
the
just to speed it up, I think.
Or just not having Eddie Bravo try to sue you.
Just put a slight variation in the rules, right?
I think
Because
it's to get through the matches faster. Because 5 minute matches, 1 minute overtime. You know you can just knock a match out in 6 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think it's because it's a time limit. They, for organizational purposes, wrestling federations, wrestling meets have, hundreds, thousands of matches going on in a day, and they, the logistics of it just need to be like quite tight.
And so to clarify that again, if we go into overtime, a coin toss will decide who gets to attack and what position, and you have 1 minute to submit from either the back or the armbar position, and if you don't submit, you lose. The other person does not get a chance to attack. So interesting rule set here with if this should go to an overtime. I mean, Major, tactically speaking, if you were going to advise one of your students, and I may be doing this because I'll be advising one of mine later, what would you recommend, attacking or defending? Because it's quite difficult in 1 minute to submit somebody from the back, especially if you're similar level, and even from the armbar, 1 minute is quite tough, eh? What would you think?
I would defend, for sure, 100%. If all you have to do is not get submitted for 60 seconds, I'm pretty sure a blue belt could stop Gordon Ryan. So,
and if you escape, you win. It's over there. So, and you only have 1 minute to finish.
Or you can just lay there in a ball for 60 seconds and win. So.
So, Major, what you're saying is you think that if Gordon Ryan was on your back for 1 minute and all you had to do was defend, you'd be okay?
I think if he were on a blue belt's back for 1 minute and all they had to do to defend, it'd be okay.
I'm going to disagree with that.
You think so?
Yeah,
maybe it's a stretch.
I think this is a call-out.
Okay, we have Charlie entering over here with his coach, Marcelo Tavares, coming from one side.
We have Amirul and Akis. Akis showing off his guns today. Akis going to be fighting later, of course. He's got a Ghee match with Benji, a rematch from national jiu-jitsu trials in this room. In this room,
Should be really
2 years ago.
So Charlie is entered over there in the red corner.
So Amiral, the semi-finalist from the last ADCC tournament, but now he's home. He's in the Ghee where he's comfortable.
He was a finalist.
He was a finalist. He got to the finals.
Yeah, he was a finalist, yeah.
I find it interesting, Charlie wearing the red belt and Amiral wearing the brown belt. So So Charlie in the white gi, Amiral in the black gi. 5 minutes to work here. This should be an interesting.
In IBJJF, how many promotions is it from brown belt to red belt? It's like 11, isn't it? It's not bad.
He looks quite young for a 70-year-old man.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seeing a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match and a guy wearing a red belt, it's pretty bizarre. But here we go, 5 minutes to work.
That is the standard with most of the outside of IBJJF.
Oh, Amiral quickly chooses to pull guard.
There's Charlie underneath.
Now, Charlie chooses to pull guard. Amiral on top.
Amiral gets the 2 points. Charlie has a wicked half guard, which is what he's pulled
and
to.
he's in deep here. He's got the underhook. He's trying to
guard.
pass the bottom leg over to his hand to maybe grab the toes here. So Charlie pulled guard, but he's in deep on a potential half guard underhook sweep here. Amiral's going to have to pummel and get this underhook, or maybe take a back step here into the reverse half, but Charlie's going to finish this.
He's got him elevated.
So Charlie's confident that he can not only sweep but also land in a dominant position because he's down 2 points here. In order for him to get up on points, he has to not only sweep but get into a dominant position from the top.
Yeah, you're right. You get points for position in this.
You get point for sweep too.
Well, there's the sweep.
We'll see. Yeah, so it's 2 points for the sweep as well.
Yep. No.
But Charlie in on the leg weave here, chooses to go back to the knee slice. But Amiral's in on the underhook here.
And Amirul's on his back. Amirul probably would have chosen to pull guard in this match anyway. So now he's just pretty much been able to do it.
Sweep, but Charlie might get the mount. And Amiral saves it, gets back to the half guard. Charlie looking for a pass here.
Interesting, both of these guys are half guard players, I think.
Charlie deep on a pass here. Both guys looking pretty evenly matched. The score's 2-2. Oh, but Charlie might get this pass. Amiral's still defending. He's got the toe, the far side ankle, though. Charlie putting a lot of passing pressure on here, and it looks like he just got a point.
Looks like a point for an advantage. So now he's winning by 1. I don't think it quite counted as established side control, which is the position you get points for.
Amiral's able to re-guard, but Charlie's chaining these passes together really, really nicely. Looking to go into maybe a...
Amiral with a nice leg pummel there.
And it looks like he might, if he leg pummels again, he might be able to take the side control on the backside here. Halfway through this match, Charlie's up 3-2. Really with some impressive passing. He might get the pass here. He's leg pummeling again. Looking to pass to the backside here. And Amiral just hanging on with his toes. Oh, and he's able to re-guard back to the butterfly guard. We'll see if he can immediately attempt a sweep. And there's the, Amiral able to re-guard again. Charlie passing viciously, one pass after the other. Amiral just fending him off, constant re-guarding. But Charlie's setting the pace right now.
Charlie's got another advantage point there, so he's now up 2. What we're seeing, though, is Amiral being extremely hard to pass there. His re-guarding, his guard recovery is impressive.
Looks like we've paused the matchup here. Both referees conferring. Okay, we resume the match here. 2 minutes left. Charlie's up 2 points, 4 points to 2. And Charlie again with this really nice leg weave passing. I really like this. Amiral doesn't seem to have an answer for it right now. He's constantly defending on the re-guard.
Charlie's upper body pressure as well is what's really stopping Amiral from being able to get going at all.
Oh, here we go. Amiral's in on a sweep. He may get it.
He's got that reversal.
Oh, if he can keep this position. Oh, this match is tied 2-2 or 4-4. We got 1 minute, 20 seconds left in a really close match, but Charlie is in on this deep underhook again. Amiral's going to have to do something about this underhook. He's going to have to keep Charlie's back flat, find a way to pummel this underhook in. Because right now, Charlie is in deep, and there's 1 minute left.
Charlie doing a good job of hiding his top arm. Amirul's got his leg free.
Referee warning both guys to get to action here. There's only 1 minute left.
Amirul looking
This
for...
could be it. Amirul's going to have to... Oh, we'll see if he's able to get the pass. 40 seconds left. He can't give up the sweep here. We'll see. Whoa, Amirul's able to save the top position. This one could be razor close.
Is that a pass? No.
Oh, that's a pass.
That's a
that
pass.
should be a pass right there. Amirul should be up.
Yep.
That's a pass right there.
That's a pass guard. He's established side control.
I don't know if Shinya sees it. Does Shinya see the pass here?
Yeah, well,
There it is.
There's the point.
So Amirul was able to get the pass with 10 seconds left. Charlie's going to need to explode here.
Very close.
And there's more points. Amirul with the pass in the last 30 seconds of the match. In a match that was razor close.
The other way. He's gone to that
and
side
that's
position.
going to be it. Amirul Shafiq with a scramble and a pass in the last 30 seconds of a really, really good match.
That was really
That
exciting.
guard pull came back to haunt him, huh?
Well said.
Yeah.
That well said. The guard pull came back to haunt him.
Remember that, boys and girls. Guard pulls.
Bad. It's disgusting behavior, frankly.
I mean, that is the trade-off, right? But conversely, if he's concerned about the wrestling, you know what I mean? You lose. It's 3 points if you lose by takedown. If you lose the takedown, 4 points if you lose by high amplitude takedown. So it's all about mitigating risk and trying to tactically choose where you stand the best chances of winning. Charlie dominated the early part of that match, but Amirul able to get the pass at the end and come away with the victory in a great match between two brown belts here in Singapore.
Well, that gamble almost looked like it paid off.
Almost.
Right
almost.
at the end.
Amirul just has the hustle, man. He can be down with just any amount of time left, and he will work.
That's how he won the opening rounds of ADCC as well. It's always like that last-minute burst. When he knows he doesn't have to worry about getting tired anymore, he just goes all out.
And he's really great at scrambling and chaining sequences together, whether he's playing guard or he's on top.
He's very hard to pass. So we saw there was no points awarded for like an established pass on Amirul. There was a couple of advantages given against him, but every time it looked like Charlie was just about to get past, Amirul manages to sneak his leg in and get that guard back. It was, exactly what we expect from Amirul. I'm sure he'll be backstage, really happy with the win. So.
As we get ready for our next match, a freestyle wrestling match at 56 kilos.
Oh, Mateo and Kayum.
Kayum Youssef from Fighter Fitness and Mateo Martinez from Carpe Diem BJJ in a 65-kilo freestyle wrestling match brought to you by Excelsior Financial. This is the Singapore Grappling Invitational in collaboration with the Wrestling Federation of Singapore, putting on a great event here with multiple martial arts disciplines. This is the Get a Grip event coming from the Tanglin Community Club.
Yep, Mateo's one of those kids. I think he's only recently started doing jiu-jitsu. He started while he was at school. He's one of those really, really annoying people who's just very athletic and picks this sort of stuff up really easily. He's I've never freestyle wrestled him because I've never really freestyle wrestled, but if you try and grab a hold of his neck somehow, he twists out of it, does maybe 2 somersaults, and then he's on your back. It's not going to be a fun or an easy ride for Kayum, even though he is the one competing in his wheelhouse. Mateo really stepping out of his comfort zone, showing what a great competitor he is, taking this freestyle wrestling match on not a great deal of notice, especially against an established wrestler.
Well, one thing about Mateo Hurtado, who competed at the most recent Singapore Grappling Invitational, he was able, after only a few years of training and as a blue belt, able to get a submission victory over a purple belt, now brown belt member of the national team, which is a really tough thing to do. I mean, this guy clearly shows he is a quick learner. He's extremely diligent. He's extremely dedicated, and he's proven he is able to come as the underdog and at a experienced disadvantage and get victories on the Singapore grappling scene. So, of course, before, competing in jiu-jitsu and freestyle wrestling is a different animal, but Mateo Hurtado not afraid to go and try and put himself in uncomfortable positions just to compete.
Yep. Obviously, Kayum, we should talk about him as well. You know, he started wrestling in 2015, so it was about 6 years of wrestling, and he's competed at the Asian Championships at cadet level multiple times. So Mateo will absolutely need to bring every single ounce of gameness that we've seen from him in the past to pull out the victory in this one. But again, I'm really looking forward to it.
So cleaning of the mats here between every single match, just as a COVID-19 precaution. Currently have Mateo Hurtado against Kayum Youssef coming up soon in a 65 kilo freestyle wrestling match.
That's one thing about, watching lots of different rule sets is that you have no idea what these weight classes mean, and there's
and I don't know how much they care either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess probably some sort of Nobel Prize or Fields Medal for anyone who can find like some sort of mathematical relationship between these weight class choices.
And these different rule sets. I mean, we're dealing with 4 different types of martial arts here, all with subtle differences in their rule sets. And it is interesting to see members of jiu-jitsu players coming in competing in freestyle wrestling, Sambo people coming in and competing in jiu-jitsu or in wrestling, and you're seeing people that have competed frequently in one particular discipline trying out other ones, which is really something to be said about the willingness of this community to partake in other martial arts, and it shows something about the community, the general martial arts community of Singapore, and how interconnected we all are, and willing to experiment with different styles. As Mateo Hurtado making his
looks
way
like
to
our
the corner
competitors are
over
coming
here.
out. I've just received a message from Mateo's strength and conditioning coach, Eoin Scullion, who says that Mateo also benches 200 kilos.
Wow, just a freak, eh?
I don't think that's true.
Impossible, right?
That would be like world record powerlifting
I'll tell you what, it
territory.
does look bigger even though since the last time I saw him.
Yeah,
3 kilos? No, if you can bench double your... Yeah, that'd be...
That'll be triple his body weight. I wouldn't put it past him.
Getting a little bit blown up by the coach here, eh? So this should be interesting. Of course, you see him here wearing the 2020 senior shirt. If that doesn't make you feel old, I don't know what does.
Absolutely, it's ridiculous.
It means he wasn't born when I was a senior.
Yeah, exactly.
God, he has no idea what the 1900s were.
Okay, and we see the traditional garb of the freestyle wrestling and the traditional garb of the Nogi BJJ guy.
Well, Kayum wins best entry onto the mat with that forward roll.
Man, Kayum looks like he's a unit, man. Nice, tall, big, strong guy.
I assume he's been wrestling since he was about 12, so he's
Both young guys here in the competitive grappling scene. Of course, Mateo Hurtado focusing more on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but willing to come out here and try his wrestling.
How much of an advantage or disadvantage do you think shoes are?
Oh, they're massive advantage. I think they're massive. They give you so much more friction, so much more ability in wrestling.
But for defense, like on a single, it's really hard to hold on to a single if the guy's got a slippery foot.
Yeah, but you can explode. You can generate the weight transfer so much more quickly in shoes if you're trying to take someone down.
So you say +5 offense, -5 defense?
I still think it's more, I think it's even better for the defense also. I mean, just the grip, your ability to connect to the mat. I can't see an advantage of being more slippery other than, but look at this, Mateo not caring. He's willing to shoot here. Let's see if he can posture his head up. Oh, look at the power of Mateo, able to come out the back door.
There's that 200 kilo bench press.
Really, really strong. He needs to get his head up and stand up here, and he's able to, is he able to get the push out? Let's see if he's able to get the push out. Oh, and
he gets him off
Mateo
his
is
feet there.
strong, man. And able to score the takedown on the wrestler. Really impressive stuff from Mateo Hurtado. Wow, no fear, shooting right away. Impressive work for this young man who's only been training for a couple years. Active hand fighting here too from Mateo. He's pressing the pace here. In on a Russian tie here. Able to use it to sneak behind and take them back again. But Youssef able to be in here on the single. He's got a nice grip on that leg. If he's able to build his base up, he might be able to finish his takedown. He's going to come out the back door.
So we see a bit of like jiu-jitsu difference from Mateo there. He's trying to pummel his legs through that grip there. It's just something that a lot of wrestlers won't be used to, will they?
No, but I mean, you see that Youssef was able to get his hands connected in on the single, and you get a strong wrestler with their hands connected on your leg. It's really tough to break the grip. So he's using his foot there to try to peel that grip free. But oh, Youssef in on a double leg here to get the push out of the takedown.
Looks like he got
the push out.
Got the push out.
So we have 2-1 here. Mateo up on Youssef. But
Go
Mateo
for that ankle
shoots
pick
in again,
again.
but he might get turned here. Oh, and he did, but he's going to come out in the back. A really nice scramble here. Mateo's got to clear this arm. There it is.
Oh, he's got that grip
And let's
on
see
the
if he's
back.
able to get a mat return or a turn here. But he needs to stay behind him or look to get a grip around the belly so that way he can turn him. He's going to need to crossface and go for a hard sprawl here. But Youssef has a nice grip on the leg. Here he comes in the crossface, but he's giving it up. So we got 3-3, a real close match. But looks like Mateo is bringing the pace here, though. Amazing to see a jiu-jitsu player shoot more than the wrestler.
I'm taking a big, deep breath there as well.
Cam looks tired already. But he's still in here fighting, but his body language looks more fatigued here as we just about approach the halfway point of this match. See if he can finish this. He's gonna finish this. Mateo is gonna come out the back. He's gonna look to suplex over the shoulder, but he's able to finish the takedown here. KM showing maybe his fatigue a little bit. He needs to look for the turn here. He might just grind this position out.
I think we got the halfway break coming up. I think that's coming at a better time for Kuyam than Mateo.
It might just be 1 second here, and that's it. Okay, so we'll see. We got a close match here. KM Youssef against Mateo Hurtado. Mateo up 5-3. I'm just very impressed with Mateo's willingness to wrestle here, willingness to risk getting sprawled on, take the shot, and having this sort of funky BJJ wrestling hybrid style that can be really strange to deal with if you're more of a traditional freestyle wrestler.
Mateo is very much of that new generation that have grown up on seeing ADCC, where you can't just, a few years ago you could get away with ADCC with, just having a double leg or just a single leg. Whereas now these, because the level of wrestling at ADCC is so high, he has to be able to chain attacks together, and I think we're seeing that here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Mateo with a nice snap down there. Youssef able to clear. There's Youssef in the shot. But Mateo is able to flatten him out with a hard sprawl. It looks like Youssef may have hurt himself here. You've seen him grabbing his shoulder. Mateo able to get the turn. If he's able to get another one here.
Ref.
It looks like we have an injury here. The corner throwing in the towel here. It looks like KM Youssef may have got injured here when he flattened out. This is sometimes a common wrestling injury. You see when one guy goes for the single leg or the double and you try to reach for that leg and you sprawl hard, it can jam your shoulder, which it looks like we may see here. Hopefully Youssef is okay. Never good to see this. While we're on injury break here.
There.
Yeah, that's a really common wrestling injury. Because what happens is when you extend your arms outward to try to go for a single or a double and you connect your hands, it puts a lot of pressure on your shoulder. And then when you get sprawled hard, you see he got sprawled into a belly down position. It puts so much upward force on your shoulder that you can dislocate, you can tear the rotator cuff. This is unfortunately a very common wrestling injury, and we just hope that it is frankly a dislocation. That would be a relatively minor injury in comparison with something like a rotator cuff injury or a ligament tear, which can sometimes also happen with a dislocation.
He looks to have he looks to have range of motion back there.
Okay, so if he's able to motion with it, that should mean that it's in the socket. He seems to be getting up here. We've got 2.5 minutes of time.
I think they're throwing in the
I
towel.
think this match
I think they're
is gonna
throwing
be
in the towel.
over. Yeah, better to be safe here.
Yeah,
These are young guys. We'll see what
he's
the
got
coach and the athlete choose to do.
He's got a long career out
He
of it.
seems to be okay. It looks like he's trying to continue.
He's going to fight.
So he's able to lift, so it doesn't seem to be a dislocation.
If they allow this to continue, does that mean you can take timeouts?
I mean, I think you can take an injury break. I'm not sure exactly what the rules are with regard to injury time. I mean, you see him grab that shoulder immediately.
Yeah. So from a sporting perspective, though, I think there might have to be a question
On if
on
he's
some
allowed
of the
to
points.
continue.
Well, no, on some of the points that
I see.
because Williams' corner did throw signal to the ref quite quick. They threw in soft toy to indicate that he was injured quite quick. But
Looks like we're resuming here.
Yep.
So Mateo Hurtado up 11-3. The question is, will Youssef shoot again? Is he going to risk extending his arms in that manner? Or will he look for upper body takedowns, snap downs? He's going to need a big, you can see him already grimacing in pain. I don't know about this.
I don't really.
He's grimacing in pain here as they're hand fighting. Mateo able to, but Cam in on a shot here. He might be able to get a lift. This could be a big takedown. Oh, and beautiful takedown. Youssef able to fight back and get on top. Great heart from KM Youssef as he's able to score some points here, but he's just visibly in pain again. You got to wonder how much further he can go and if it's even worth it. He's scored here, but he's in visible discomfort, still down 6 points. You got to appreciate the toughness, though.
Yeah, he's absolutely showing this championship heart there, isn't he?
But you see that left arm is just hanging there.
It looked like it was a stinger to me, like one of those like nerve pinches that shoot down your arm into your fingertips.
Oh, now Mateo's going to look for a lift. And you see just Youssef grimacing in pain here. Mateo's going to get the turn. He might, if he gets a turn here, he might get technical superiority.
That was a tech fall
if he can chain them together.
And create back exposure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much there is to gain here.
If I'm very honest, I think Kuyam's corner should be throwing a towel in at this point.
Yeah, I mean, to Major's point though, it's hard to tell what kind of, sometimes you get those ones that where it numbs the arm, a sting or a nerve, but the way he's showing it looks like pain, not numbness. Like every time.
It's painful. It feels like your whole arm's on fire when you get one of those.
But you see how he's carrying it. Doesn't seem like he's got full mobility in that left arm. 1 minute to go here. It's like he's going to choose to fight through it. But you see, he's not even hand fighting with his left hand. I mean, it just seems like the potential for injury here is worse than the upside of winning this match, which seems already like it's very unlikely. But to his credit, KM Youssef showing his heart. Able to secure a takedown on it, though, earlier. Here's in a hard sprawl. And Mateo's going to look for another lift. Drops him down. He's going to look for a turn
there we
here.
Go. He's got those 2 points. He's got the tech full.
That's it. Okay.
The tech?
Yep. So Mateo able to win by superiority here. Technical superiority. A really, really impressive freestyle wrestling showing from Mateo Hurtado.
We need to get that man a singlet.
Yes, really,
Can you imagine
really
how much
impressive
more
showing.
powerful he'll be in a singlet?
Exactly, just the look and the Christmas socks. He needs to bring, and no shoes.
No shoes, no singlet.
But the heart of Kayum Youssef is just something to behold, and he really, really showed his heart.
Well done, buddy.
Cheers, man. And all right, guys, I'm going to have to leave you here, as I believe my wife is going to be the next one up in the competition, so I'll leave you gents to commentate while I go be a cheerleader, huh?
Cheerleader. Have you got the outfit? Well done, buddy.
So next up we've got
Yeah,
Charmaine
we have.
and Carol Lim.
Yep.
This is
So do you train much with Carol?
years
at all?
back, But Carol's more Muay Thai, I think. At least she was back then.
Okay.
More into Muay Thai. I would say Charmaine trains a bit of everything, but competes primarily in Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it's gonna be an exciting one.
Yeah, it's Nogi, okay. Once again, wiping down the mats.
Yep. Keeping us nice and safe here. So we'll just take this opportunity to say to have a quick word about our sponsor, Excelsior Financial. Excelsior Financial is a group of financial consultants representing Great Eastern Financial Advisors. They're also a part of a larger agency advisors clique. With its industry-leading processes and best-in-class training, Excelsior Financial is able to provide their clients with clarity, confidence, and convenience in their financial journey. Excelsior Financial believes that sports is a close metaphor to their values and hence committed to growing the sport culture and game in Singapore. Through Excelsior's financial support, they believe that the Wrestling Federation of Singapore will be able to give back at even greater levels to the community and society at large, especially in the development of the association and high-performance programs. To find out more about Excelsior Financial, please visit their website at excelsiorfinancial.sg/giving. We also want to say that this year, the Wrestling Federation is celebrating their 13th birthday in Singapore, and just reiterating their mission to promote wrestling, Sambo, and grappling, and other associated grappling styles to build strong and resilient children, youth, men, and women for our society in Singapore. As we said, we think they're doing a great job of this. You may support the Wrestling Federation of Singapore in their mission by making a 250% tax-deductible donation at www.giving.sg/Singapore Wrestling/OTSF. Cool. Later on, there will be a QR code you can scan to make a donation there. So Major, you said that Carol's mainly a Muay Thai fighter. She's picked up the grappling a bit more recently,
Right.
and Charmaine does a bit of everything. She runs Stronghold with Luke, so she's gonna have a bit of an MMA base as well. She's gonna have a bit of MMA sensibility. So who do we expect the stand-up portion of this to?
Well, Carol, if I'm not mistaken, she did train with the national wrestling team for a while.
Okay.
So,
And
I think this is not really like a jiu-jitsu match, though. It's like a wrestling match where you get points for a different kind of scramble. You know.
Well, you can finish with a submission,
Yeah,
basically.
You're allowed to choke people, but it's wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you say that she's primarily Muay Thai, but Muay Thai clinching is nothing to be sniffed at from a grappling perspective. If you've had good good Thai fighters grab a hold of your neck and throw you around, it's not fun.
Yeah, there's definitely some carryover there.
Yeah.
It's a different type of grappling, but for sure.
Yeah, it's Muay Thai trips very very similar to certain judo throws. I always think of it as looking like a modified sasai. Looks like
Both of these ladies teach kids classes as well. This is interesting. Probably have a very young.
okay. So one day
viewership
we
right
could
now.
have like a mini version of this
Yeah.
happen. That could be.
Each of their little clans.
Yeah, exactly.
Battle it out.
All right, looks like. Yep. So, So this is. Singapore Grappling Invitational, Get a Grip, in association with the Wrestling Federation of Singapore and Excelsior Financial. We're coming to you live from the Tanglin Community Center. It's a lovely venue for this competition. Right, looks like Luke and Charmaine are out on the mat, and Carol and Lecky also coming out. So we will be getting underway in this next match very shortly. Carol has Lecky in her corner looking like an absolute gangster. Oh, unfortunately, he's not on screen. So there's Luke, not dressed in his cheerleader outfit. I'm complaining about that to the organizers, Major, aren't you?
I thought that was the official uniform. He had to wear a cheerleading outfit.
He said cheerleader. We expect him to stay true to his word. All right, these ladies are both mat side now. All right, and they're on the mat. So again, this is Carol Lim off Impact against Charmaine Lim. Maybe they're related, of Stronghold.
Two limbs from the same tree.
All right, let's see how the wrestling is different in this match. Yep. Looks like Charmaine is already trying to take advantage of the boundary rule. So she's trying to utilize the push outs to start racking up a few points.
It's kind of an interesting rule. It does kind of force you to have good mat generalship, I suppose, right? Your awareness of where you are.
Exactly. So Carol really trying to utilize that collar tie. Getting that Muay Thai background showing. So we'll see.
I wonder how well sumo wrestlers would do in this rule set.
Good, yeah. Charmaine there with a nice snap down. Carol getting that grip, keeping it really tight. It's always a demoralizing thing when you can't take someone's hand off. Yeah, going for that big snap down there.
Using her collar ties and.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The mental aspects of grip fighting are important as well. It's trying to. She's going for that arm drag there. Yeah. Oh,
extra. Carol winning the battle on the control. She seems to be the one on the inside.
Exactly. Will that count as a guard pull or an attempt at a sacrifice throw? I'm not sure. This is where being a judo person often plays dividends. You can always say it was a Tomonage. So again, we'd like to see a bit more combination fighting here in these stand-ups and more chain attacks. We're seeing like isolated single snap downs, but not being followed up by anything. Yeah. Charmaine go for that snap down again.
When no one's allowed to pull guard, this becomes more important than the sweep pass game.
Yes, absolutely. It looks like Charmaine was just given a passivity penalty. Not so sure about that. She's got that Russian tie. She's got that 2-on-1 control. She's got a deep underhook now. Let's see whether she can do anything with it. Lovely Aponcio Nage there from Carol. So Carol's got those 2 points. She's got a minute and 45 to work from here. So Charmaine, we're going to have to see how she is off her back. She's got that really nice high guard there. Her hips are coming up. She's trying to get that arm across to look for an armbar. She's created that angle. She's got that armbar. That looks pretty damn tight. Looks like Carol might be able to. Can't quite see from this angle. She's got her leg over the top defending.
Doesn't look like she has it, so it's about transitioning to the next position.
Yeah,
where she can be
it's
offensive.
important. It's important that you know when to especially in a positional fight like this. She wants to go on top. Okay. All right, so Charmaine getting an advantage for that. Going for an Osoto Gari. Oh, she's trying to take advantage of the push-out rule. 40 seconds left of this match. Can we see any more late drama today? She's gone there for that Osoto Gari. Don't know if that counts. That's been given to Carol as a takedown. So she's ended in her guard. So she's got 25 seconds. She's going to have to throw up a big submission here. She's down by 3 points. She's trying to... Yeah. Carol knows that she just needs to hold. She's gone for that armbar again. Carol very cleverly gets back to her feet now. As long as she can avoid a takedown and avoid giving up mount, she's probably going to take home the victory.
And that's it.
Oh, that was exciting. That was hard. Very hard fight there. And Carol Lim taking home the victory there. Whoa. Not that major. It was a very hard fought fight by both ladies there. The pace of that match was very, very different from the last Nogi match we saw. They went at it from the get-go.
I think they both knew where their strengths were. And
Yeah.
they just kind of accepted that. And when they were in a position, they each knew what they wanted to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Or not do. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's a very, very tough match. But congratulations to Carol there on the big victory. I've got to say, Tim rocks that Sambo. For everyone who can't see, Tim's just walked out in proper
Yeah.
red
With the
Sambo
cuff over
gear.
the shoulders and everything.
Yeah,
You know. Now that's the Fedor outfit.
that is the Fedor outfit. So
They can,
he
it
sat
doubles
there
as
in
like a
the
Halloween costume.
sumo pose. He looks ready, looks warm. And then we have Nick warming up in front of us. Also looks ready. So both of these guys actually both had a freestyle match. Actually, both against Reina today earlier. Nick fought against Reina on the pre-show. So both of these guys, not coming into this cold. So yeah, once again, big boy time.
So this is the second match for both of you guys.
Yes, it is for today. We didn't see Nick's first match. So interesting. So this is a plus 98 kilo Sambo match. So Sambo rules, you can score total victory in 3 ways by total superiority is if you're winning by 12 points.
Is it 12 for Sambo?
12 points for Sambo. A clean throw where you stay on your feet and the opponent lands on their back and high amplitude. And submissions and pins. So submissions that aren't allowed. Anything twisting, any heel hooks.
It's kind of
You're also not allowed to choke in Sambo.
Yeah, I've seen a Sambo match where someone accidentally went to sleep because
Yeah.
the person didn't know they weren't supposed to choke.
Yeah. So
Kind of an interesting rule set, though, because usually what happens with different forms of wrestling is it's, well, let's see who can take who down. And that's
Yeah.
that's your judo and
Yeah.
styles like that. And then it's like, well, let's see who can hold each other down. And that becomes like your wrestling.
you're wrestling, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then it's like, well, let's see who can make the other person give up. And that's like your jiu-jitsu or your submission wrestling. But Sambo kind of allows for those to be
Absolutely.
means to win.
Absolutely, and they allow more time on the ground than something like judo. So you are more likely to see submissions in this. And it's nice to see Singapore starting to get into more Sambo these days. Last SEA Games we had several medalists, several gold medals. Timmy was at the SEA Games, and he got I believe he medaled as well in Sambo to add to his many SEA Game medals in judo. All right. So Nick Hui fighting out of Gracie Baja. Tim fighting out of Jag Sport. Well, Tim straight in with the Ashiwaza. Gets that grip on the lapel. Nick going for a Yoko Tomonage there. So now he's brought it down to the floor. Believe in Sambo, if you pull like that guard position can be counted, certain guard position can be counted as pins. So you have to be careful if you come into this from a jiu-jitsu mindset. Tim looking poised. Again with the Ashiwaza there, trying to take him off balance. I don't think he thinks he's gonna throw with that. Goes big Osotogari, lands, gets 4 points, and decides straight back to the feet. So as I said earlier, for a judoka like Tim, actually this can be quite fun because you get to throw your opponent what would be considered for ippon multiple times if the situation arises.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the most important range to be proficient in is the standing range.
Oh, he's gone for that drop Seonage. Nick's on top, he's got a pin. It's counted as a pin. And Nick gets out. Nick going for the armbar there. As we said, so Timmy there was in judo. If you've got half guard, that doesn't count as a pin, but there it would have counted as a pin. So Nick had time in a pinning position there. So it's not just a foregone conclusion for Tim, and also as we saw there, Nick. If Tim's used to competing in judo, he can't necessarily in judo. You're not allowed to grab the legs. So Tim going for a leg grab there could be something that he's not used to.
How old school? How long has he been training judo? Because this is a relatively new rule, right?
So the leg grab rule came in around 2012. Yes, I competed against him once in like 2009. So it's he's been doing this a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tim got an extra point there. Oh no, he didn't. They've taken that off. These two, of course, competed in Sambo, I believe, earlier this year. Tim got the victory that day. We'll see how that goes today. Cardio-wise, Nick's starting to look a bit more tired than Tim. Tim, obviously very used to this. Yep. It's nice to see Nick going for that Yoko Tomonage and then shooting straight for a double. These are just combinations of attacks that you don't see normally, Major. Tim with a nice sprawl there. Maybe he's coming around to get the pin. Nick rolls around to his front. So, something that you notice with judo and stand-up. Oi! Wow. Massive Haraigoshi there. Onto his back. Another 4 points for Tim. If he gets one more, if he gets 4 more points, then I believe that constitutes total victory.
This looks like a very skilled judo player going against,
a jiu-jitsu
couple of takedowns,
Yeah, absolutely. Tim with that Tim with that grip on the belt there. Sambo being a Russian sport, he's on the side there, so he could be going for looking for a Russian sumigashi. But look at Nick there, getting him off balance, going for the arm again. I think Nick knows that he's not going to get total victory of a big throw on Tim here, so I think he's looking to get the submissions more. He's got that underhook. He's going for the sumigashi, and Tim's now in a hold down position.
Now, is this a pin?
Yes, this does count as a pin. It's not quite as quick as wrestling pins. All right.
That's a pretty long pin.
He got out, I think. So he's got 2 more points. He's up to 10.
So 1 more, and it's a tech fall. Or it's a
2 more points, yeah.
Ooh, here
We go for that Uchimata. Nick almost getting that reversal.
Gonna look for the knee calf slicer. Knee bar.
knee bar. Looks a bit shallow.
Yeah, lost the hip, lost the knee line here. Switching to the other leg.
So all he has to do is stand up, and he has to let go. So
Yeah. Yes, that's correct. But I think in that situation, it's a bit easier to stand up if someone's got your arm, say, than your leg. I see. As I said, that counts as a pin there. You can't just pull and hold guard in Sambo. So we have 20 seconds left. Tim still looks fairly fresh. Nick breathing heavily, hands on hips.
10-1, Tim over Nick, and this is Tim's second match of the day as well.
Oh, it's Nick's second match as well.
Oh, is it? All right, because he was competing
there
when
we
I came in
go.
earlier in freestyle.
Yeah, they both fought Rayner.
Jeez.
14-1, so that's a 10.
But yeah, Tim with another big throw there to get the total victory. Yeah, so as I said, in judo, any one of those 3 throws that he got would have counted as an ippon. Here today, you're able to throw your opponent a few times, which is just something I feel judoka can enjoy. Maybe not Tim, because this is his second fight. Maybe he wanted to be done a bit quicker than this.
Would you say that there's more of a difference? Would you say that there's more of a difference between Sambo and judo than there is between the UWW Nogi rule set and say like a ADCC rule set?
Yes. Like I said, I think they allow a little bit more time on the floor in Sambo than they do judo. And as I said, certain throws that would score ippon in judo don't necessarily score that total victory in Sambo. Whereas so stylistically, you can get slightly different fights. I guess actually I'll go back on my answer. I'm going to say no. I think the difference between UWW and like IBJJF or ADCC rules, it completely changes the style of what happens. That the grip fighting there and the attempts at throws were as you'd get in any judo match, really, apart from the attempts at the legs. Right. Whereas you pretty much eliminate the ability to pull guard in UWW, which is
right. That's what I was thinking, because even the wrestling rules, or the different grappling rules, it keeps the same name, but it's a completely different sport aesthetically.
Yeah.
But you look at this and you look at judo, it looks exactly the same. This is judo without pants. This is basically judo without pants with a couple of little weird tweaks here and there.
Different scoring criteria, slightly different nuances here and there, but yeah, these rules are very different. I mean, even going to Charmaine's match real quick, Charmaine and Carol, you can see that that's not a jiu-jitsu match, right? That they only were on the ground for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, for sure.
The rest of it was wrestling.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so good to train if you're judo training Sambo training judo, BJJ training wrestling, is that you can fix these little elements of your game that these slightly different rule sets
force you to.
Yeah, they force you to. And it's really interesting to see how they manifest themselves in the matches.
Yeah, you can definitely see the range or the areas where you have to be proficient. There's just no way around it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we've already seen the guard pulling approach fail twice today. for example, and both people who opted to wrestle more were able to get the victories there. And then it should be interesting too going into the next match, because coming up next we have another jiu-jitsu match. We've got Oz, Hisham Oz, competing against Rahul Raju. This is should be a really interesting matchup between an active one championship fighter and Rahul Raju, and Hisham Oz, who's the reigning champion of the last Singapore Grappling Invitational event.
Yeah.
Different though.
We've seen both of these guys on Singapore Grappling Invitational matches events before. Like you said, Rahul, professional MMA fighter, absolutely one of the toughest human beings that you'll come across. In the
Tough, strong, big.
The man's threshold for pain.
This is an interesting
ridiculous.
match because they're sort of meeting in the middle. This is neither one of their ideal rule sets or preferred, or I'd say like optimal rule sets for their skill set, right?
Well,
Oz obviously ADCC and Rahul obviously MMA grappling, and this is sort of like chopping off both of their weapons. No heel hooks, no punches, you know?
Yeah, you've trained both of these guys, so if you were to give some insight here into what we can think, particularly keeping in mind this rule set, I mean, how can you see this going?
I don't see how you're going to be able to hold Rahul down. if long enough to score, right? How Oz would be able to hold him down. I don't see. Maybe try to modify some of the leg lock entries into straight ankle or toe holds or something like that. But
Rahul won't tap.
what's that?
Rahul won't tap.
Probably not.
And what about the wrestling approach here? Because obviously Rahul, being a professional mixed martial arts fighter, is probably getting a lot more pure wrestling repetition.
No, but the problem with this is that the whole range, the whole way you set up your takedowns is completely doesn't exist in MMA.
Right.
You'd be throwing punches, or you'd be dodging rolling under punches to get inside. You're not going to be that close, touching each other, trying to get inside control and do all that stuff. It's a skill you can completely negate. It's like open guard. Open guard retention doesn't really need to exist in MMA, right? You just stand up. Why would you have an open guard?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I completely agree. Actually, when I was preparing to fight Rahul myself in grappling, I studied his wrestling as well, and it's very relevant to MMA, and I feel it. But it doesn't necessarily translate here. I don't think he's got a great power double. I think he's got a good get on your legs and shove you against the fence and then take you down sort of game. I think in terms of no non-fence wrestling, I think technically I'd probably give the advantage here to Oz. But obviously the physicality,
the size.
Size.
Rahul seems much bigger than Oz. I don't know how they're in the same weight class here. What weight class is this at?
Open weight.
This is.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay,
It's about.
I was like, what is going on? There's no way they could have made the same weight class.
10
Yeah.
kilos, right?
Yeah,
Oz-
at least 10 kilos.
Yeah,
And you'll feel that when you try to shoot on Rahul. If you're trying to take him down, you're going to feel he's a strong guy
10 kilos is like 2 belts.
with a big, strong guy with a weight advantage. But it'd be interesting to see the approach of each guy, and then who can get off their offensive wrestling in this range.
Absolutely.
And it looks like we're preparing to
Well,
bring the guys out.
Rahul's jiu-jitsu as well. It's very MMA focused, in that it's similar to a lot of how I would describe like judo submission attempts, in that he's very fast with them. He's not sitting around on your back looking to trap arms and with his legs and keep control of your arm and hold the back position and get a body lock. He's looking to squeeze your neck until you're not conscious anymore. That's how he won his last MMA fight. So his last MMA fight, he toughed out a very, very tight guillotine.
Yeah.
Toughed out some.
It was getting beat up too.
Yeah, he was getting beat up. Got on the guy's back and, like I said, choked him.
Checked a hard low kick and was able to hurt him with that.
Yeah.
Take his back, swarm him, and choke him out. So no for wanting of toughness on either side.
Absolutely not.
Should be a really interesting match. You can see Rahul just a big dude.
Yeah.
Oz is going to have a massive weight disadvantage here, but he's a very active grappler, and specifically like in the grappling competition scene. Of course, he just won the most recent tournament at Singapore Grappling Invitational. Wants to challenge himself. Tired of being known as the leg lock guy. That's what he just told me in the back.
He is. I've rolled with him a few times and lately. It is a bit disingenuous to just call him a leg locker, because he's I mean, he's a purple belt in his own right, and he's more than good value for that. And you know, the rest of his jiu-jitsu game is very, very, very solid. You know,
the trick here will be the tactics as well, because, you know, again, as we've seen with many of these matches today, if you decide to play that game on the feet for 1-2 minutes and then you're expecting your jiu-jitsu to save you, you're really not having much time to work. So tactically, does he choose to pull guard? Where is he going to go with this? Because if you end up in a wrestling match and stalemated and down by a point or two, good luck shooting on Rahul, getting behind him, getting under him. It's going to be tough. So tactically, it'll be interesting to see what both guys choose to do.
I wouldn't be surprised if he were able to get in on some good shots, because, like I said, that initial phase, that engagement phase, doesn't exist in Rahul's arsenal really. He's doing strikes there instead of grabbing each other's hands and slapping each other's ears.
As you can see, the size difference here.
Oh yeah.
This is very, very much an absolute division match,
How
isn't
is
it?
Rahul even a featherweight at one? It doesn't make sense.
He's a lightweight.
Oh, lightweight.
Lightweight, yeah.
Still. I mean, look at the size differences these guys lock up. Rahul maybe looking for a Russian tie here. There's Oz on the first shot. He's going to have to take a deep shot here. He's going to have to get real deep and quickly get up to his feet or get around the back.
If you're Oz, what do you think of flying attacks? Flying arm bars off that collar tie from Rahul?
I mean, if you're Oz, you're doing this match for fun.
Yeah.
You know, you might as well, right?
Make a show of it, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Good reactions there from Oz. Both guys actively looking to wrestle here. See, already the first minute's done. But I'll tell you what Oz needs to be careful with. He can't let Rahul get too much lower than him. He needs to stay low. He's the smaller guy. If he gets underneath of his hips like that.
Looks like Oz might be getting in some trouble with the judges for being a bit passive.
Push out.
Yep, here it comes. Oh. See
There's that strength advantage there.
So there's a point for Rahul already.
That strength advantage there. Oz doing everything correct there, and Rahul just throwing him to the floor.
And we'll see how he's going to get
cage control. You know, he's used to maybe putting guys up against the fence.
He might get pushed out here again.
All he has to do is just push them into the fence that doesn't exist, and he gets points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely the more physical of the two. Might get pushed out here again. Oz wisely circles back to the center.
I'm not even sure if Rahul knows the rules, though, to be honest.
I think he just rocks up.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, all right.
Grappling, you say? Okay, just can't punch. Cool, got it.
What time? All right, I'll be there.
But Oz is going to have to do something here. He's going to get another warning. Here it is.
There you go, Rahul.
See if he rolls in this leg lock. Yep. Oh, he almost spiked himself here.
So there we go. That'll be 2 points for Rahul. And now he's underneath.
It's going to be tough to sweep the big man here. Let's see how Oz chooses to approach this with the match nearly approaching the halfway point.
This is kind of where I expected this match to be at this point in this match.
Rahul with a nice head positioning here, not allowing Oz to get underneath of him, but he's got a better chance now. We'll see if Rahul's just going to back out and let him up. I think Oz should stay there because here he comes. He's in on a leg entry, looking for a false reap. Able to come to the backside 50-50, but he can't heel hook here. So see if he's going to switch it to a knee bar. So he's got a really good position here, but he can't heel hook.
Oh, he can toe hold as well.
Toe holds are not allowed. Are there?
No, you can.
They are allowed.
You can
Okay.
toe hold. I believe you can toe hold.
So Rahul clears his knee.
Here.
Back
Oz
on
just
the
needs to
feet.
pull guard again. Submission's going to be the only road to victory here, I believe. He's not going to be able to.
It is only 3 points at the moment, so
But he's going to have to take down
it
and
would
pass.
have to be quite quick. He doesn't have a long time to play a longer game, but he's got some.
But they just gave Oz a point. I'm not sure why.
Submission attempt,
Oh, okay.
possibly.
I didn't see how
where was
deep he was on the foot there.
What submission was he attempting?
Maybe a toe hold. I couldn't see from the angle it
He
was
entered
at.
into the
Backside.
50-50.
He's going for the
He's
leg
going
lock
for
again.
that.
We'll
Go
see
for
if he
that
can get low.
Kanebasami.
He's got a decent bite on this knee bar. He's got a decent bite on it. Rahul wisely backsteps, so he's going to switch to the other side. This is where Oz needs to get this match. Although there's not changing many opinions about him being a leg lock guy like this. Oh, he should just stay there. And they're back on the feet again. Let's see if he chooses another entry into the legs.
I would have thought that might count as a some sort of scoring.
But he's making it interesting here.
My understanding of the WWE rules is that if the fight goes from standing to the floor, points have to be scored.
I mean, he's
just taken 2 points.
He should. Yeah. That's exactly what he should do, is just get in there, try to get the best chance he has, take the back from here, get in on a leg lock, on a knee bar. He's going for the false reap again.
Some deliberation at the officials here.
Rahul in a shot. He might take a neck here. Oh, Rahul able to pass, secure the side control, and secure the points here. Rahul wisely circles him back toward the middle.
So you got the points for the side control there?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. So he's now up by 8 points.
So Oz probably looking for a Hail Mary here.
Buggy choke.
Yeah. He's got 6 seconds. You
can't choke Rahul in 6 seconds.
You cannot choke Rahul in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 7 seconds though, maybe.
7 seconds.
He literally has to. He will have to go to sleep.
Squeeze on.
Ah, okay.
And Rahul able to get the win here. Good match by both guys. Of course, Oz coming in at a massive size and weight disadvantage. And, you know, just coming in to have a good match, right?
Yeah.
Just coming in to keep his competitive muscles strong, keep his reactions on point.
Absolutely.
If these were a different rule set, he would have had Rahul in some danger with some possible inside heel hook attempts in the mid parts of that round. But all in all, good fun. Both guys are safe, and both guys get to come out and then put on a show.
Or maybe it sets up that story later on. Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be a match that happens later on.
Big respect to Rahul as well. You know,
buddy. Cheers.
How are you? You know, big respect to Rahul as well. He's a professional fighter, like an active professional fighter, coming into this arena and going against a specialist in their own field. It's not, you know, it's not a win-win for him.
No,
you know,
and he gets, you know, and both guys get to come out. It was based on the size difference alone, an open weight match.
Yeah.
Oz giving up 10 kilos in difference. Oz still had his moments. He still had his chances to attack, but ultimately Rahul with a nice effort, some timely takedowns, a nice pass at the end for a fun matchup here as we get into the last couple fights of the day. Coming up next is Ryan Tay from Jag Sport.
And Kai.
And Kai in a Sambo match, 71 kilos.
So, yeah, Ryan the Terminator Tay and Kai, looks, personality, style, Hussaini. This is going to be exciting because, how long ago? Back in the day, I've been doing jiu-jitsu in Singapore a long time, and I think in like 2008 sort of time, I went to train at Fightworks Asia for a bit, and Kai was the established dude. It was the judo dude as well. So, you know,
just look at the legs on this dude.
Look at him. Look at the handsomeness, but also the personality and the style. Come on.
Tree trunk legs on this dude. I mean, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. I need to cover up my legs right now. I'm getting a little shamed. You know what I mean?
I think he's in every form.
You're very lucky he's got sleeves on. You're lucky he's got sleeves on. His arms are equally impressive.
Just a tank of a man.
What's cool? Both of these men wearing like the old school Sambo tops.
Traditional Sambo blue and red. Okay, this is the third to the final bout here in the Singapore Grappling Invitational Wrestling Federation of Singapore event.
That's some very judo getting ready there, just slapping the hell out of yourself.
And I believe this is the final Sambo match of the day. sponsored by Excelsior Financial. So Ryan Tate takes on Kai.
Ryan from Dragsport, they're one of the best judo teams in Singapore. Ryan obviously also represented Singapore in Sambo at the SEA Games. I believe he has represented Singapore in judo too. So this is going to be fun. There's going to be some big throws here.
Oh, and the Sambo main event here. Both guys looking to establish grips first. I see a collar grip here by Ryan Tay. See how he's able to break it. Oh, and he's able to get a little takedown here.
Lovely Kouchi. That's a technique you really can't see much of in judo, that Kouchi Makikomi, where you.
I've never even seen that technique before.
You give your back up quite readily with it, but it's a great way to get someone quickly to the mat.
There it is again. He goes for it again. Nice tries with the ankle pick. Oh!
Nice
and
drops here,
beautiful
Nagi.
Throw.
Onto his side.
Ryan Tay able to score the 2 here. And Ryan Tay scoring with vengeance, with the Kia.
He's very much the one you can see pushing the pace in this.
See how Kai responds. Both guys looking for that initial grip. He's trying it again.
He's trying it on the other side, which is refreshing to see.
But he's able to get the underhook here, and he's going to try to turn him or spin behind. And back up to the feet.
Ryan Tay's a judoka. He can stall at that position all day.
Oh,
lovely Sode attempt, though.
One of the things that's interesting, too, about Sambo is that you don't score for trying a takedown and failing. So if the other guy ends up on top, it doesn't score you points. So a failed takedown attempt and you ending up on bottom does not score the other person any points.
Kai going for a drop Nagi there. He didn't quite get the rotation that he would have wanted.
Okay, we're almost to the halfway point here in the match. Oh, beautiful,
Another 2 points there for Ryan. Modified Kataguruma.
So Ryan Tay up 4-0. For maybe a fireman's carry here. Kaiozeni aiming on the ankle pick. Oh, but he's able to get behind. Is this going to score for the ankle pick?
No, he's going to need to get a.
He's going to go behind the neck armbar here, maybe.
For the old school juji roll. Ryan Tay's a very, very big throw sort of player. He's not gone for any foot sweeps. Well, so for, not setting up with any foot sweeps. He wants a big, big throw.
Well, those techniques are favored by the rules here as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, I mean, you can see here, Kai is going to get nothing for this double leg where he ends up behind him, basically, because of the rule set.
So Ryan with that double sleeve grip, it could set up that Sode Surigomigashi that he tried earlier. There we go, he's going for it there.
Not quite able to finish it.
Has to drop to his knees, unfortunately. If he can really get underneath and stand up out of that, it's a huge throw.
Ooh, little inside low kick there from Ryan Tay. And he's going for this drop Nagi again, able to get it.
That gets him on his back, so he gets 4 points for that one. And he's looking for that the hold down.
Looking for it. And there's the 4 points.
Oh no, they dropped it to 2 points for him. But I think he's...
Okay, we're in the final minute here. Ryan Tay up 7-0 against Khairul Husseini.
So he's got 4 points for that pin.
It's now 11-0. They did give him the points. And here it is again with
There
this.
we go, that lovely, lovely Koichi Makikomi to get, well, his first like full would have been an Ippon throw.
And that should be a win by technical.
That is now, yep,
superiority.
total victory. So the Terminator does it. Will he be back?
So Ryan Tay with a tech fall here in the Sambo main event. Singapore Grappling Invitational in collaboration with the Wrestling Federation of Singapore. This event is sponsored by Excelsior Financial, and we are about to get onto the
Two
the
main events.
co-main and the main event of the evening. Next, we have Akis E coming in against Benjamin Shaw from New Fit GF Team, an 84-kilo Ghee match.
This is a rematch. This is a rematch of the final of the 2019 National Jiu-Jitsu Trials. On that day, Benji won with a quick knee bar early on in the fight. Benji did go on to represent Singapore and win a silver medal at the Southeast Asian Games. So this has been a while coming. As we said, Benji recently started university studying physiotherapy, so maybe he'll have some new anatomical knowledge that he'll use to try and find some leverage here. Akis has been training a lot, and he's trained in a lot of disciplines as well. I train with Akis very often. I think he's one of the most humble people in the jiu-jitsu scene, in that he's always looking to learn as much as possible. And he's not just looking to learn in jiu-jitsu; he's looking to learn in wrestling. I believe he's looking to compete in Sambo and compete in wrestling going forward, just to round out his game.
Well, that should be an interesting wrinkle in this matchup because, I mean, I've trained with and trained Benjamin since he was about 16 years old, I think. It was when I first started training with this kid. So he's really had a long martial arts journey. And,
Benji is one of the best competitors.
Yeah, competes a lot.
He turns it on. He turns it on when the lights are on, he comes alive.
But I really think the rule system could be the X factor here, because I know those New Fit GF Team guys, they do a lot of IBJJF competitions. And this rule set where it's so
heavy.
It's very judo heavy, wrestling heavy, and I know that they tend to do a lot more like guard work. So
I mean,
Benji's a guard player. So
Benji's Instagram name is basically Berimbolo.
Yeah,
so he's,
Benji Bolo on Instagram.
Follow him. Great content. But yeah, it's he'll have to pull guard in Berimbolo fast.
And he's you only got a few minutes to work here, and I do suspect we're definitely going to see a guard pull. I don't think Benji's going to mess around too much.
To be honest, I spend a lot of time having Akis try and pass my guard. It is not fun. Fortunately, I do most of that without a gi on. With a gi on, it is just revolting how tough his top pressure is.
So I mean, we pretty much, I believe, set the stage for what is all likely to be a guard versus passing type matchup here. Can Benjamin, if he does choose to pull guard, overcome that 2-point deficit? We've seen all of the BJJ purists lose tonight at the hands of the rest of the better wrestlers. And we'll see if this is a trend that shows itself, or even if Benjamin might flip the script here and go for some takedowns. We don't know what we'll see here.
What's Akis' judo background? Is he a judo black belt?
Akis? No. He's not. I believe his brother's like a very, very... He doesn't have a formal judo background.
Okay.
He spends a lot of time training with Tim. I've seen...
I seem to have remembered him throwing some of my students when he was a blue belt.
You don't forget things like that.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
So Akis Lee against Benjamin Shaw.
Yeah.
We'll see how quickly this gets to the ground.
All right, they lock up.
It's already been on the feet longer than I thought it would.
Well, I think Benji may have seen that the people who pull guard aren't necessarily taking a huge advantage out of it. He's got a very, the other thing with looking for the takedown in jiu-jitsu is if you really want to not be thrown, it's the rules allow for it. You're allowed to stiff arm for however long you want.
And I will say, I believe one of Benjamin's coach, an old coach of mine, Bruno Cunha, I believe he's a judo black belt as well.
Bruno's very good at judo.
Yes, he viciously fights on the feet. And so I'm sure he's been working with Professor Bruno on his stand-up. And we'll see if it pays off here. Benjamin looking so far happy to try it out his luck on the feet.
I think he's looking to wrestle. He's looking to wrestle a bit more than Akis is. Akis is looking to stay a bit more upright. He's trying to change the posture of it, but there's a big head fight. That's the most jiu-jitsu foot sweep attempt I've ever seen.
Borderline calf kick.
Yeah, absolutely. No setup.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, Benjamin in on the single, but he gets flattened out here. But he's in on a tight. He's going to look to. He got him in a knee bar in the first time. We see if he's looking for it again. He's looking for it again. Benji's got a really good inverted guard. Akis able to square up with him though, and here comes a Toriando pass. In on a Toriando leg drag.
There's that top pressure I was mentioning.
Oh, Benji's got to turn his back. Looking to roll for a knee bar, but I think
again,
Akis is wise to it. Fool me once.
He's not giving his back. He's inverting. He's, that's the Benji way.
So Akis up 2-0. Still looking for that repeat knee bar of the first time that they met in the national team tryouts.
Akis has a hold of his. Does Benji have a hold of the lapel? He does. He's got a lapel. He's going for some worm guard here.
Benjamin with the very modern style of Ghee Jiu-Jitsu. And sometimes in your gym, if you don't have a lot of guys playing that, it can be really difficult to deal with it.
Yep, absolutely.
With his inversions, his barambolos, his worm guards.
However, Akis on top, as I said, is an absolute savage.
Now Benji looking for a lasso guard here, it looks like. Akis is going to have to clear this leg to pass the guard here.
Akis with that leg drag, but Benji with a very good high leg to retain his guard.
Oh, and he's in on the Toriando, but he's still got
he's got that
lasso.
He's got that lasso grip.
Looking to throw up a triangle.
Is the specialty of Benji's other coach, Popeye. Seeing a lot.
But we've got 2 minutes here, and Benji's down. Again, the wrestling advantage looking difficult to overcome. Benji's got 1 minute and 40 seconds to hit a sweep here, but then he's going to also have to get a pass, or we're going to go into this overtime rules.
Looks like the judges.
Oh, and this might be the pass here from Akis. Oh, we'll see if he gets an advantage for this.
We're seeing Akis be very patient here. He's a very patient top player.
Which you need to do against Benjamin.
Absolutely. It's
we'll see if they
Benji's guard is explosive, and it's lethal if you let it get out of hand, which Akis is doing a very good job not to do. This is a weird reset position.
Yeah. And now he's got a real good chance at Toriando because he's not stuck in that lasso anymore. Benji's got a really good ability to re-guard and end up with good sleeve grips that he uses to tie up into spider hooks, lasso hooks, worm guards. And right now, Akis just trying to put the pressure on, but Benjamin's guard is really nasty.
Akis has got that double under.
But Benji's going to have to make something work here. He's got 45 seconds to find out how to get his sweep. But if we get into these overtime rules, who knows who it's going to benefit. 30 seconds left here.
There's 30 seconds left, but Benji
He's going to have
does
to go all
a
out. He's looking like he's going to try to come up.
lethal offensive guard. He's got a good grip on him here.
He's going to try to go for the leg again.
For a knee bar
we'll see if he can get some extension here. Akis sitting back on his legs, though. Oh, but
Akis took a look at the clock
he's
there.
able to get some extension, but he doesn't have the angle right on the knee. Akis is sitting back. He needs to use his hands. He needs to use his hands to defend. And that's going to be it. Akis Lee able to get his revenge against Benjamin Shah.
Benji very much on that leg at the end of that there.
A close match, well fought by both guys.
Both guys absolutely
really
savages.
competitive. Sort of played out like we thought it may.
Benji gets an advantage, got an advantage there for that knee bar that he was attempting at the end.
Akis very casually defending it there in the last 15 seconds.
It was very casual.
Seemingly not worried about it, knew he was up 2 points, and gets the win in a tight match. And I suspect this will not be the last time we see these two guys competing against each other.
They should set up a rematch in a rule set that they're both familiar with.
Maybe a SGI,
maybe
next SGI and an IBJJF rule set.
SGI 4.
Or ADCC rules, we mix it up. Flip the game.
ADCC rules indeed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about to the main event of the Singapore Grappling Invitational, working in collaboration with the Wrestling Federation of Singapore, sponsored by Excelsior Financial. And we are about to get our freestyle wrestling main event with Hung Yao going against Gary Chow. Hung Yao being the captain of the Singapore wrestling team. Gary Chow may have his work cut out for him here, as Hung Yao almost universally known in Singapore as the top wrestler in the country. Major, how do you think this will go?
I don't know much about Gary. I know Hung Yao because he started with me as an MMA kid, and he signed up for wrestling because he wanted a T-shirt.
Because he wanted a T-shirt?
Because he wanted a T-shirt, yeah. And 9 years later, here we are.
We got Gary Chow training out of JagSport. I mean, these guys have produced some really, really high-level talent in Singapore, so it'll be interesting to see how this matchup goes. We got Hung Yao working his way in right now. But he is, I think, universally understood to be one of the best freestyle wrestlers in this country as we get ready for our main event of the evening. We have 79 kilo freestyle wrestling. I will say that I believe Hung Yao to be giving up some weight here.
Yeah, I think this is higher than he normally competes.
Gary Chow just looking jacked, standing right in front of us. Big boy. I think he's definitely got the weight advantage here. I think Hung Yao is my size. I don't know if he's quite 80 kilos.
No, bro, you're not that swole.
No, I'm not that swole. I'll tell you that right now.
Hung Yao was maybe your size back in like 2014.
Back when I was a thick boy. Yeah. Okay, both guys ready. Quick turnaround from the co-main to the main event, going from Ghee Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to freestyle wrestling. I think we can expect a hellish pace here in the main event of the evening at the Singapore Grappling Invitational. 6 minutes, freestyle wrestling, and we are about 30 seconds away here from the main event starting. We were just mentioning, David, that it looks like Hung Yao maybe definitely giving up the size advantage here. You think this was a part of the matchmaking here? Because Gary just looks swole.
Gary is jacked.
Yes.
Gary used to beat me up when I was like 12. It was it was not so fun.
These guys must train together quite regularly, right? If they're that close in weight, and there aren't a lot of wrestlers here.
These two,
they're both national team guys, right?
Well, Gary's a judoka, so I think he's just stepping out of his wheelhouse. I think he competed in Sambo, but I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun. Hung Yao, obviously, captain of the wrestling team, very explosive.
Is Gary the captain of the Sambo team?
I believe he was, yeah.
I believe he was, yeah.
Yes.
So this should be interesting. He was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was captain of the judo team once upon a time.
So confirmed here. We've got two team
Sometimes we don't talk about that, though.
Team captains, all martial arts politics aside.
Yep.
We've got two beasts.
Gary
you
with the
can just
Terminator
look
in his
at
corner.
These two, man. Checking for weapons here. What are we doing? Both guys ready to go.
Hong Yao with some tape on his shoulder. And Gary with some traps on his.
Okay, here we go, the main event. I expect a crazy pace here to start out with some hard hand fighting. There we go, right in the scrum immediately. Both guys hand fighting hard. Hung Yao with a lower stance.
Oh, absolutely. Hong Yao's going to be looking to get underneath him.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Yes.
And in wrestling, very often the lower guy will win. In the first shot, Gary with a nice sprawl. Hung Yao's got control of that ankle, though. Let's see if he's able to stand up with it here. Gary with a nice sprawl. And Hung Yao's going to maybe finish this. Trying to pull that heel in. And he lifts up. He's going to spin and turn, end up on top. Oh, Gary with a beautiful sprawl. Excellent work from Gary Chow, getting the reversal here. We'll see if he's able to turn. That's going to be difficult. Both guys up to their feet. Gary with a nice start to this match.
Look, we said that Gary is an international caliber judoka. That was some very, very judoka scrambling, wasn't it?
It looked like Hung Yao was going to come out on that takedown and end up on top. But the hips on these judo guys and these sambo guys, I mean, it is just not easy to get under them and finish those takedowns. Such good control with their hips. Such powerful sprawls. Looking for the fireman's carry. Hung Yao counters. He's got the inside head position here.
It's Kataguruma if the judoka does it.
Well, I call it a fireman's carry if it's wrestling, bro. I don't know all those terms. Oh.
Watch more Danaher. You'll learn some Japanese. It's fine.
Learn to culturally appropriate.
Oh, Hung Yao with a big shot. He's got his hands together. We'll see if he's able to posture up and circle around, get his foot around the ankle. He does. He's going to finish this takedown here.
Now, this is called a Kosoto.
We'll see. He's got the, oh, but he's able to sit out here and see if he might be able to get behind. Wow, these are some really competitive scrambles. Oh, and he's able to high step over, and he's got Hung Yao flattened out. This would be a crazy finish. Hung Yao bridging hard. Gary looking for the pin here, looking to flatten the shoulders out. What a crazy reversal from Gary Chow. And Hung Yao is going to be able to get to safety here, but he's going to have his work cut out for him here with 4 minutes left. He's going to be down. Wow. Gary Chow proving he is well versed in all grappling martial arts. Really able to scramble out of these deep shots from Hung Yao. It's the hip power. When Hung Yao's getting deep on these legs, he's connecting his hands. He's getting really deep. But just the hips of Gary Chow able to stuff Hung Yao from finishing here.
Yeah, and he sprawls out again.
I'd like to see Hung Yao bring his head to the side with some of these takedowns. Gary may come around the side again. Hung Yao may need to get up to his feet and bail on this takedown. Oh, but he hits the switch. And he ends up, oh, they're going to give him the points. They do. They do. Wow. Hung Yao right back in this match. We have 2-4. Gary Chow up on Hung Yao.
This is great.
What a competitive wrestling match we have.
The parte is where judo probably helps you none whatsoever, right? You got to imagine the guy who's trained specifically in that is going to do better at that.
Hung Yao choosing again to go head inside on this single leg. Gary's had real good success defending it from here. But Hung Yao's going to finish this. Let's see what the referee says here.
He said no points.
Oh, that would have been close. That would have tied it up. Doesn't get the takedown. Both guys go back to their corner.
30 seconds to rest.
Gary Chow really, really showing up today. The question is, can he outlast Hung Yao in this last period? He's up 4-2. But Hung Yao will come back hard like a dog. This guy fights hard for his takedowns. But can Gary outlast him here?
He's getting onto that single leg. Well, it's Gary. Gary scored points off reversing it, but Hung Yao is, if he's able to finish it, then it's a different story. But
and he nearly finished it right there.
Exactly.
He got totally saved by the bell, and we're dealing with a tight match. So Gary coming on strong early. The tide's maybe slightly shifting in the favor of Hung Yao as we go into the last 3 minutes of this match. Hung Yao goes in on the high crotch, coming around to the side, switches it to the double. Oh, and an athletic defense by Gary, but it gets reversed. And now Hung Yao ties up the match. It's going to be hard to turn Gary, though, here. Hung Yao coming on hard here. I feel the tide turning. Gary's going to need a way to deal with this high crotch single from Hung Yao.
Hung Yao will find Gary's initial defense is very unorthodox. I think he might have started to figure them out a bit now.
And it's all been all attacks from Hung Yao over the last 1.5 to 2 minutes. Gary's going to have to find a way to initiate some offense here. See if he can get in on it. Oh, but Hung Yao's got him biting on those feints now. He's got him reacting. He's got him overreacting. Gary's going to have to set something up here. Oh, looking for a throw.
Almost.
Oh, they give Hung Yao the point here for the push out. Hung Yao up 5-4. Let's see how Gary responds. There we go. We got a shot from Gary here. He's going to need to clear the hands if he wants to get in deep. See Hung Yao winning the hand fighting battle here.
Going for that snap down.
And Hung Yao's got the head position. He's got the angle here. He's probably going to look to shoot real soon. And what I'm seeing here is just some superior hand fighting from Hung Yao.
Well, he knows he's winning now, so he's.
Oh, he's going to try to peek out the back. Oh, but Hung Yao's able to cut him off.
Reverses it.
And he's up now 3 points.
Up by 3.
Oh, he might get the turn. May have caught him sleeping here, but he flattens back out. Hung Yao showing his veteran skills, his veteran presence on the mat.
Gets onto that single leg again.
And he's going to peek out the back here. He's going to finish this. Oh, but Gary with really strong hips. But he doesn't have the whizzer here, so I think he's going to get the takedown. Here it is. See if he can get him back to the mat. Oh, he's able to turn and get the push out.
Looked like he might have tried to go for that Uchimata off the back there.
On
He turned the other way.
Nothing run since that last near fall there. Looks like Gary kind of woke Hung Yao up there, I think.
Yeah, the early shock from Gary, but Hung Yao showing his veteran status. He looks like Gary's getting a little desperate here. He needs to try to keep it technical. He's starting to...
A drop Sianage like that is disgusting in judo as well as in wrestling. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough call here. Gary's going to have to keep it together for this last minute.
Oh, he's going to need to score. He's going to need a big throw, and a turnover.
And a turn, yeah. A nice inside trip here, but Hung Yao able to counter and get behind. He needs to fight the hands. And let's see if he takes a turn here, if he's going to choose to stand up. Oh, and here we go. Hung Yao really showing his veteran status as a wrestler here. As we get into the final stretch of this match, Hung Yao on an 11-0 run after 2 early scores
and
from Gary Chow. But Hung Yao, I mean, how many times has Hung Yao shot in this match?
It's almost, you almost think like if you let him score a few points, you can score more. You'll get more reps in, you know what I mean?
Oh, but he's looking for the turn here, and he bails on it. Hung Yao getting close to tech falling here in the last 10 seconds of the match. Gary shoots in, still tries to fight hard to the last minute. And that's going to be the end of a great match here.
That was a great fight. Very much went the way of the plot of Rocky 1. The plucky outsider gets some initial success, but then the savvy veteran finally pulls through.
Well, he had his moments, right?
Yeah.
Gary Chow had his moments. We all knew what we were getting into here, and we all thought, we all thought we knew how this would go. And Hung Yao able to score the win here, 13-4 over Gary in a really competitive outing in the first period. But then you just see the veteran skills, the savviness, the technique overtake Gary in the latter half of the match in what was a fun wrestling match to watch. So, guys, what are we thinking here for final thoughts? I mean, you know, these are United World Wrestling rules, and if there's one takeaway I've learned from this whole event is that when the rules are built around wrestling taking the priority, the wrestlers have been winning here. They've been pulling out the victories over the people who maybe aren't spending as much time in that one particular discipline, which is not a huge surprise, right? And you see the wrestlers able to beat the more classically jiu-jitsu trained players, and again against the more judo, sambo guys who are more used to training in the gi. Not really a surprise here, but what are your takeaways?
Yeah, like you said, I think this has really been a great showcase of highlighting the importance of you know, stand-up grappling and not just being able to fight off your back entirely or fight from top position, but on the floor in a grounded position. Yeah, and as you said, we've seen, you know, everyone who pulled guard today, which is only Charlie and Oz, but
and Charmaine and Ben. Well, Ben got taken down, I guess.
Benji
got taken down.
So
three.
Yeah, and but the thing is that tends to happen a lot in IBJJF matches. If you get a takedown, you tend to see the person who gets the takedown win, because the other good thing with takedowns is that it doesn't. If your opponent pulls guard, then they have some sort of say in it. They have some sort of say in the position that you land up in. They have some sort of say in their grips. If you take someone
it's easier,
down,
and it's way easier.
Yeah. It's not demoralize. It would demoralize me.
But it would demoralize the three of us. I think we can all comfortably say that.
But if you pull guard, it doesn't. It's less energy, and it's, you know. Whereas if you take someone down, you will have had to have established good grips before that, which means you'll be able to establish the dominant grips in the grounded position, like in a much more dominant way. So I think this just highlights this. Just you know, it re-emphasizes the importance of being able to take someone down.
What about you, Major? Any thoughts on this rule set? Thoughts on this combination of guys changing into disciplines that they're not so savvy into, and then just kind of some thoughts on the event as a whole and what you saw here from like a martial arts perspective?
I saw no submissions. The whole tournament, and I think it's because it's based so much around the wrestling that it's really essentially a wrestling tournament more than it is a grappling tournament. It's a wrestling tournament where you're sometimes allowed to do chokes.
Because the reality is that, you know, with such a short time frame, it's really hard to get a submission off on somebody when you have like 2-3 minutes to work.
If Major had Gordon Ryan on his back for 2 minutes, he'd be fine, right? If all he had to do was defend.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Okay,
sorry.
That's all the cardio I got.
But yeah, you're right. This is a wrestling tournament, and that's really what we saw today, and really good. I hope that people learn from watching this and really choose to train their wrestling, because you see, when you don't do the slap hands, fist bump style jiu-jitsu, you could really have a lot of success just avoiding and negating the guard play and the pure jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, the thing is, if we don't have anyone initiating, like going straight for transitioning the fight from standing to the ground, then we end up with very little time by the time we get there, and then someone's ahead. So for sure, like whenever these matches happen, when it hits the ground, somebody's already ahead on points. So that's already encouraging or discouraging people from moving forward into the submission.
All right, everybody. I'm Lucas Leasure. This is David Ooi, Major Overall. This is the Singapore Grappling Invitational, working in collaboration with the Wrestling Federation of Singapore, brought to you by Excelsior Financial. And please keep your eyes open for the next wrestling event and the next Singapore Grappling Invitational. Thank you all for joining us today.
I got to be on that.
And have a good day.
I'm going to be on that.
Yeah. Let's do it.